strong, still around that kind of million mark on the ratings. Obviously, there's a few little bumps that have been along the way, and kind of feels like at the moment I don't know, they're in a weird place, aren't they, right now? I think they're still doing around 1 million, around 1 million. They are obviously coming off the back of that AEW media scrum, which is one of the biggest things that ever happened in their history, resulted in loads of suspensions and in stripping of their world champion, losing their biggest star in CM Punk. Obviously, executive vice presidents all getting involved, some of their biggest stars in there as well that have also been suspended, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. And it's such a weird time. It's such a weird time in AEW. I mean, if Tony Khan was to sit down and just think back on the past 3 years, I'm sure he'd be really proud about a lot of the things that they'd managed to achieve. And I'm sure he would be really happy with a lot of the things that they'd been able to achieve. And, I would imagine there's a lot for him to gloat about. And, I don't know if it's exceeded his wildest expectations, but I think that there's definitely a lot that he can take from the last 3 years. But there must be a tinge, just a little tinge of sadness and regret with some of the things that have gone down. No way do I think he wanted to lose Cody Rhodes, for example. And no way did he want, obviously, the drama with CM Punk and Young Bucks and Kenny and all of that to, play out as well. And, you're getting lots of people speaking out. We're seeing now Andrade and Sammy obviously saying a few words on social media. I don't know really if that's real or if it isn't real. I seriously don't know. It's always hard to know because I think social media is I think since the pandemic really, has really been embraced more than ever. I think the pandemic was so eye-opening for wrestling. I think wrestling didn't have any fans go into the shows live. And so the only way they could communicate was their weekly TV show. But it meant that social media had to do more work than ever before. Social media and wrestlers interacting with their fans, trying to maintain that connection, build an audience, build a brand. Social media was more important than ever. Could you imagine if social media wasn't around for the pandemic? And it feels like wrestling really embraced that around that time. And now it's hard to know, are some of the things we're seeing true? Is it just a way of creating buzz? I seriously don't know. I don't know. I mean, look at the success of White Rabbit. I mean, White Rabbit has just been incredible. And, that's largely played out on social media. So as we said, we're really starting to see companies really starting to utilize social media a lot more than they have before. And you can see the buzz that it creates when they do. So it does just make me question some of the things that I see that are doing the rounds. But hey ho. Yes, overall, I think he would be very happy and very proud with what they've achieved. Right, let's try and jump into some of the comments. Obviously, we've got the breakdown as to what we're going to see tonight. One of the things I thought could be fun is I've got an article. We'll park it for now, but I've got an article from Bleacher Report, who I thought were a pretty good company to go to for this. And I've got their top 10 moments of AEW from the past 3 years. So I thought it might be fun to just go down those top 10 and you can share your thoughts on it. I can share my thoughts on it. See if we agree, see if there's anything else we would put in there. They've got some honorable mentions as well, things that just miss out on the top 10. And one of them I just thought was one of the worst things I've ever seen. And it for some reason it's in the honorable mentions. What is this? Is it the best? It's not really the best actually. It's 10 moments that have defined AEW. 10 moments that have defined AEW. now I'm looking at it. I don't know if that's the article I wanted. I was looking for the best moments. But I tell you what, let's just quickly blast down them, because otherwise people will be like, we never did that article, because there's every chance that we won't get to it. So number 10 was Stadium Stampede. Stadium Stampede was number 10. It's going to be hard, actually, to argue this now, because if this is moments that defined AEW, then yeah, Stadium Stampede did. So I'm probably going to agree with all of these from that parameter. But looking at it as like, did I enjoy it? I enjoyed parts of it, but I really hated parts of it. There was parts of this that really, really rubbed me up the wrong way. And I just didn't like some of it. There was a lot of silliness in the Stadium Stampede match, which, look, if you're down for that, if that's the kind of thing that you're into, then I'm sure you love this, like from start to finish. There was undeniably some great stuff in there, but there was some silliness and bits in there that just wasn't to my taste. So I wouldn't have that in my top 10. It's Sting. So I think it was Winter is coming, wasn't it? Isn't that where Sting made his debut? After weeks of speculation, Winter is Coming episode featured the arrival of Sting to the shock of AEW fans. The Hall of Famer and multiple-time world champion emerged from the shadows to come to the aid of Cody and Dusty Rhodes and Darby Allin. I can't actually remember how he debuted. I remember where it was, and I remember the snow, but I can't tell you who he saved. But I would imagine Darby would have been one of the people. But yeah, great moment. I've got no issue with that. Great moment. Hangman's Triumph from Full Gear 2021. So obviously this had been a long story, and we finally got to Hangman winning the championship. I've got no problem with that being a defining moment. I've got no problem with that being people's like amongst favorite moments. The only thing I would say about that was it felt like we were doing some really good stuff with Hangman, and it was building and it was building, and then he went away for a while. He went away, I think, because did his wife give birth, and he went off on like paternity for a while. And I seem to recall that he was gone for, I don't know, a couple of months or whatever. And then when he came back, it just, for me, it felt like not we had to completely start again, but it felt like we just needed to do a little bit like more of a build, because he comes back, he straight away wins the number one contenders match, straight into this title match, and it's like he's back, boom, here we go, it's happening kind of a thing. That's my only criticism, was that we were building. He then goes away, and when he comes back, it's just so, I don't know, it feels so rushed when he comes back. Like it just, I think the match he comes back as the Joker in the Casino Battle Royal and wins it. And that's how he becomes number one contender. And then he goes on to have this match where he wins the title. So that would be my only criticism of that, was that maybe there's nothing anyone could do. Maybe it was literally just a timing thing, and it was just one of those unfortunate little things. But I do remember that little timeout he has, that time away, just being a little bit badly timed. But yeah, that's number 8. Dynamite Grand Slam at 7. So this was over 20,000 fans at Arthur Ashe. I would agree with that. I think that was so clever for them to use a tennis stadium. I thought that was really clever, because it's just something I've never seen WWE do. You've got a tennis stadium that's got lovely seating arrangement, nice and close and tight, because, a tennis court isn't that. It's certainly a lot smaller than a football pitch. So, it's kind of like an arena outdoors, and it's quite tight, and, it's just wonderful. It looks wonderful. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Big fan of Arthur Ashe. Thought that was a great shout. Thought it was very clever. That card, I remember being really good as well. They're just saying the main event was Bryan Danielson against Kenny Omega. And it had CM Punk, Sting, Britt Baker on there as well. So, yeah, fine. Danielson, Adam Cole, that was cool. What was good about that moment was I seem to remember we got, I think, Adam Cole first. And it was like, I think we was trying to figure out who was going to be the surprise, and it turned out to be Adam Cole. And that was cool. And then, oh my God, they drop another surprise literally moments later. It was like a double surprise, one layered on top of the other, kind of proper caught me off guard, because I was not expecting bang, bang. I did not expect them to bring both in, like, so close together. Like, I think it was the same segment, like, main event of, when was it? August, All Out 2021. That's when it was. So, yeah, that was cool. This next one might be my favorite one on this whole list, you know. Like, this list is all right. This is not a bad list at all. But this next one, I really agree with. Cody Rhodes against Dustin Rhodes. Double or Nothing 2019. Listen to this. The best match in AEW history occurred at its first pay-per-view, when Cody and Dustin Rhodes settled their sibling rivalry in a bloody and emotional battle. It was fantastic. It's brilliant. It's one of the best one of the best Cody matches, one of the best Dustin matches, one of the best AEW matches. Is it the greatest AEW match of all time? I reckon there's a couple that will give it a run for its money, but I reckon it's right that it's in the conversation. And how crazy that it occurred on their first pay-per-view. How crazy is that? I forgot that. I forgot it was on their first pay-per-view. So yeah, that comes in at number 5. Number 5 on there, like, defining moments. But I would have that in my top 10 as well. Yeah, it was brilliant. It was a brilliant wrestling match. And the bloods, the drama. I think afterwards, like, Cody said, I need my brother. Like, I don't want you to leave. I need my brother, and, like, got him to stay. And it was all, like, really emotional. And, you know, Cody will cry. I would imagine Cody goes grocery shopping and starts crying. It doesn't take much, does it? So he, like, burst into tears. It was really good. Next up, R.I.P. Brody Lee. Again, not best moment of all time, but defining moment. Yeah, I mean, what do you say about that? I mean, he passed away, and I can't believe that it never got leaked. I mean, it was a complete shock, complete surprise, came out of nowhere. And then obviously you had, like, the celebration of life episode and everything in there. Yeah, okay. The debut of Dynamite, it's a bit of a no-brainer, isn't it? The arrival of Moxley, which was good, yeah. Was it a shock? Do you know what? Thinking back now, I can't remember. I remember that he left, and I don't think it was a shock, because where else would he have gone? I mean, he probably would have gone over to New Japan. I cannot remember if we were talking about him going to AEW or not. I think we probably were. But yeah, his arrival was obviously massive, and quite early as well. At the first pay-per-view, there we go. First pay-per-view, Double or Nothing, May 25th, 2019. It said, without out it and everything that followed, the number one moment on this would not have happened. So without this Moxley moment, the number one moment might never have occurred. But the number one moment, of course, is CM Punk's arrival. No complaints there. So yeah, there we go. That is the top 10 most moments that defined AEW. I would have a few of them in my top 10 greatest moments. Yeah, I'd have a few of them. The one actually that I said was in honorable mentions, and I was like, no way, I hate that moment, right? Hang on, let me find it. I hate this. I know there's many, I would say pretty much everything in wrestling divides opinions, yeah? And this divides opinion as well. But Chris Jericho and MJF singing Me and My Shadow, Dynamite, October 21st, 2020. These two at the time hated each other. They were actually having a meal, I believe, to try and sort out their differences. Like, they were not on the same page. And they went for a meal to try and figure out a way forwards, because there was, like, an animosity that had built between them. And out of nowhere, they just started singing. And the table kind of breaks apart, and then the background pulls apart. There's dancers that are there ready. and these two start like singing. I can't find a way of explaining what that was apart from two guys. I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't know. How do you explain what that is? I still to this day cannot explain what it was. It was two guys wanting to do something in wrestling that's never been done, maybe. Like wanting to bring musicals into wrestling. I have no idea. I have no idea. That would go into my top 10 worst moments without a shadow of a doubt. I really hated that moment. What are the other honorable mentions? Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa go lights out. I don't remember this. Was when Britt Baker's busted open, was that lights out? I don't remember that being lights out. I just remember it being a match on Dynamite. I don't remember it being lights out when when they have that match. Britt Baker's got the image of her bleeding on her Titantron when she walks out. They made figures of it and everything. It really put Thunder Rosa on the map. It was maybe the biggest moment for Britt Baker as well. It was when these two faced each other and they had a hell of a match. Wonderful encounter. I don't know if that was a lights out match, to be honest. Can't remember. But AEW's often maligned women's division sent the wrestling world a clear message when Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa tore the house down. It must be that. On a special St. Patrick's Day Slam edition of Dynamite in a special lights out match with no rules to speak of. They beat the life out of each other, culminating with Rosa driving the Good Doctor through a table at ringside for the win. Must be that. If it is that, does that go in my top 10? Top 20, definitely. Maybe just outside my top 10, but it was, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's been a better women's match, to be honest, and I don't know. That'd have to be right up there. This one is interesting. The exploding barbed wire deathmatch dud. That's their words, not mine. Advertised as an exploding barbed wire deathmatch, the like of which fans in Japan have watched for decades. The AEW World Title bout between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley was less explosive and proved to be a rare misfire, literally and figuratively, for the company. So, again, that's being included because it is a moment that defined AEW. I mean, it certainly was the talk of social media. Kenny Omega and Don Callis screw Jon Moxley. The inaugural Winter is Coming of Dynamite featured one of the most controversial conclusions in AEW in history when Omega and Don Callis conspired to screw Moxley out of the world title before absconding with the gold. It was a heel turn for Omega and the first chapter in a banner year for the man who would be known as the Belt Collector. I don't know that wouldn't be in my top 10. The first pandemic broadcast is the final one. There was something haunting about watching Cody Rhodes open Dynamite, addressing an empty Daily's place in Jacksonville, as AEW was forced to end live touring, regroup, and figure out how to advance in the face of a COVID-19 pandemic. A show that was supposed to deliver significant storyline development still did, with the debut of Brody Lee and Matt Hardy. So, isn't that crazy? We've said this before. Brody Lee came in during the lockdown. So he came in on March 18th. He arrived. His arrival in I didn't know this. His arrival was the first pandemic show. His arrival was the first show without fans. And then he passes away just before Christmas that same year. And I mean, there'd been a few shows that had like, a few fans kind of in there. Daily's Place can hold a few thousand. I think there'd been a few hundred that had been like socially distanced and dotted around. But to my knowledge, Brody Lee never performs in AEW in front of a full crowd. I mean, that is just It's insane, isn't it? That's insane. Bro, I mean, that's heartbreaking as well, that he never gets chance to perform in front of a full crowd for AEW. And not even a full crowd as in, like, this building can hold 10,000, there's 9,000 there. We're talking like he performed in front of a few hundred people because he came in on the first pandemic show during lockdown and then passes away Christmas of that year. Crazy. But there we go. I wanted to make sure that we did that because I could just see us jumping into the chat and then we wouldn't get a chance to like get to it and everyone would be like, oh, you said we was going to look at that thing. Right, there we go. Sly Guy 2021. Shout out to you. Appreciate the support, my friend. Hope you are well. Hope you've had a good day. And Mitchell, of course it's Mitchell. It's always Mitchell. Might as well just rename these super chats the Mitchell Gillum chats because it's Mitchell's world, basically. Mitchell, hope you're well, bud. Appreciate the support as always. You don't have to always be super chatting in. Mitchell said, I was wondering, with WWE bringing in DC, Daniel Cormier, could they possibly bring in Jake Paul to fight him? Also, Tony Khan tweeted that the Andrade 10 match is off. Yes. So I've written down the list of matches. Andrade 10 is not listed. I didn't see the tweet from Tony saying that though, so that's interesting, but it wasn't one that was listed. Could he bring in Jake Paul to face Daniel Cormier? I don't think so. The reason being because who's going to lead that match? You've got Daniel Cormier, who is a lifelong wrestling fan, but he's got no experience of professional wrestling. He needs to go in there with someone that can lead the match and knows what they're doing. Would you put them in there with Jake Paul? I mean, we're just going off into like some weird world now. I mean, I can't say that that's not something that will happen at some point where we get two celebrities that hate each other and we chuck them in a wrestling ring and, sort your differences kind of a thing. Like it's clever in a way because you've got two people that hate each other. You put them in a wrestling ring. It's scripted. So, they can always turn around and go, it's scripted. If you lose in a professional wrestling match, really, who cares? Like, no one can seriously hold that loss against you because it's scripted. And both can get paid big bucks. People would tune in to watch it to see what would happen. So maybe that is somewhere where wrestling will go to. But thankfully, it's not a place that we've gone to because that, I would imagine, would just be atrocious. And it would just be a money grab. It would just be a money grab. I mean, it doesn't settle anything. It's at least with like, if they boxed each other, there's a genuine chance one might knock the other out. And there's a genuine chance that like the ref might have to step in and call it because the one's dominating the other person. The problem with professional wrestling in this regard is that it doesn't settle anything, does it? If DC knocks out Jake Paul, right? Let's say DC knocks out Jake Paul and then pins him. What's that proven? What has that achieved? It hasn't necessarily. It might settle their beef because they've actually got to work together. They need to be on the same page to put a match on. So it might actually achieve working out their differences, but it's not very satisfying for the fans. But people would still tune in to see what would happen. People might still tune in to see if someone goes rogue. Do you know what I mean? See if there's any, they abandon the plan and just start swinging. I think people might tune in to see if it actually turned into a real fight. And obviously there's very little chance of that when both are going to get paid heartily. But, I mean, it would be a mess, wouldn't it? It would be a mess. You'd have two people that don't know what they're doing in a wrestling ring. I have no idea who'd be leading and what the end result would be. I have no idea what it would look like. I think, let's just hope it never comes to that. But there's maybe a possibility that we could get something like that at some point, because if there's money to be made, you know that WWE will make it. Vince McMahon is still pulling strings, so if there's money to be made, they'll try and make it. So I'm going to say no though at this stage. I don't see why you would put two inexperienced people in against each other. You need someone of experience in there to lead the dance. Sammy checklist. Sasha comments, Hardy concussion, Eddie fight, Impact no-show, now Andrade fight, said Esteban. Seeb said, do you think last week's Paige promo was weird and cringy, where she brought out the women's roster and started reintroducing them? I think pretty much the whole thing was a car crash. I don't think that was bad at all, actually, that bit. The worst part of that was that she never really got a chance to... I think she only did Tony Storm and then she got interrupted. I actually don't think her bringing out the women's roster and reintroducing them is really a problem, because in a way, Saraya coming in is a bit of a refresh for the women's division, and she is someone that's very credible. So I think with her coming in, and kind of introducing the women's division, like, it could be seen as like a fresh start, and it could be seen as like, certainly if Tony Khan had put her in charge of the women's division, because we don't know her role, that in a way that's a bit of a problem. Yes. If she'd have come out and said, Tony has made me the new women's GM. So Tony has made me the new women's GM. I'm in charge of this division now. So what I want to do is I want to call the division out, and I want to show off what we've got, because these women are going to be seen a lot more than they have before. And I want to share my thoughts on every single woman in this division. And she could then have gone through each woman, only spent a couple of sentences. She didn't need to take long on every woman, but she could have gone through each woman and she could have said, like, you know, you've got untapped potential. I really believe in you and I'm looking for you to step up. You know, she could have said that about, I don't know, Penelope Ford, right? And then Penelope Ford, we know how Paige sees Penelope Ford's. And Penelope Ford then can go away. And next time we see her, we know that Saraya has said she's got potential and she wants to see her step up and deliver. So it actually, just in a couple of sentences, would have really given us something to focus on for Penelope Ford. And, you know, look, Saraya could have turned around and said, I think you're full of yourself and you need to bring yourself down a peg or two. Otherwise, we're going to have big problems. And she could have said that about, I don't know, Jamie Hayter. And then, like, how would Jamie Hayter have reacted to that news? You know, with Tony, I think she said, like, she's the best champion that we ever had, which, you know, is high praise, you know, considering. And, you know, how does Britt react to, you know, such a statement? You've got to think Britt Baker is probably the best champion we've ever had in the women's division. So how would Britt react to that news? So I don't mind it. I really don't mind her saying a few sentences about the other women, as long as she's in a position of authority. If she isn't, and I don't even know what her role is. I don't know what this was one of the problems last week, was that she came out and didn't actually say anything. She did not come out and say that she said, I'm the revolution because I am the revolution and I will bring the revolution, or something along those lines. She used the word revolution 3 times in a row, and it didn't make any sense how she was going to be bringing the revolution. So, like, we still don't know what her role is with AEW. So is she a manager? Is she a GM? Is she working towards coming in and competing in ring? I have no idea. So she needed to make that clear. Then if it is that she's in a position of power, bring out the roster. I've got no problems with that. Say a few sentences. I think that gives you a way forwards where you can actually do, some interesting things. And that would have been all right. But to be honest, that didn't really last that long. It was awkward because she started to do it and then the heels came down and interrupted. And then we moved to another wonderful awkward segment where you've got Paige in ring, Saraya in ring. You've got Britt Baker on the outside. Britt Baker destroying Saraya verbally. And the comeback was just awful. It was awful. It was awful. And it didn't play well as well. I mean, what I will say was that the crowd did start chanting it and tried to get behind it a little bit. But you could just tell you could just tell that there was a lot of people going, oof. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't witty. It wasn't clever. It wasn't, I said before, if I was being brought into AEW, right? Say I get a phone call to Tony Khan and he's like, look, I want you to cut some promos. One of the first things I'm doing is I am going to sit down with a notepad and a pen. I am going to go through people's Twitter history. I'm going to read up news about anyone that I could encounter. So, I want to find out everything I can about Sammy. I want to find out everything I can about Eddie Kingston. I want to find out everything I can about CM Punk. I want to find out everything I can about Wheeler Yuta. I want to find out all of his bad matches. I want to find out his personal stuff. I want to find out everything. I don't want to leave any stone unturned. If it takes me a week to just literally do nothing but research, I would do that research. It would be one of the very first things that I would do. And, if I'm struggling for time, then I'll do it when I'm on a plane. When I'm on a plane, I'll do some searching. I'll when I'm on a train, if I'm in the back of a car, I'll do it as I'm traveling basically. And I will do that research. I will find that stuff so that I can have some witty stuff and some, kill shots to come back with. And I mean, I would check with the people beforehand. I wouldn't be trying to set them up. If I get there and, Tony's like, look, I need you to do a segment with, I don't know, Evil Uno or something, right? Well, bang, I've got a load of stuff on Evil Uno. I've, got a history of what Evil Uno has done in AEW. I can have a look and see what people have said about Evil Uno and times he's had a few missteps. I mean, look, we're all human. We all make mistakes. Things happen, right? But I can use those mistakes and throw them back in your face. And I can, try and make you look a bit stupid in my promos. What I don't need to do is just, flounder and struggle and, rhymes with kind of rubbish, I mean, that just felt like something an 8-year-old would say. It really, there was no creativity or thought or it just wasn't clever. It was primary school, elementary school. It was just playground nonsense. So yeah, I was very, very disappointed. I was very disappointed. I would have thought that she would have done. You've got to know. I mean, if I'm a female and I'm coming into AEW, the number one person I'm doing research on, the number one person that I'm going to have pages of information about is Britt Baker. She's the top of the tree. She's the queen of the crop. She's the number one heel in that country, in that company. And I am going to go after her. I'm going to find whatever I can to go after Britt Baker. And, was it any surprise that she had a run-in with Britt Baker on the first night that she's coming out and cutting a promo? No, it's not. It's not. So, yeah, very, very disappointing. She needs to do a lot more work behind the scenes. And if she can't do that work, if she can't find anything, then she needs to find some creative writer that can come up with some stuff for her, that can write something better than seemingly what she came up with herself. This is part of the problem with AEW. It's a pro and a con that they don't have scripted promos. People hate scripted promos because everyone remembers Roman Reigns saying "suffering succotash," right? and all those cringy, awful promos that you get in WWE. But the flip side of it is that you end up with wrestlers coming out having to think for themselves. And to be honest, there's a good chunk of them that can't do like improvisation. And in all fairness, it's difficult. I reckon even people that are good at improvisation would struggle to walk out under the bright lights with an arena full of people, and you've got 20 things to remember. You've got like time cues that you've got to hit. Tony Khan's probably said, I need you to do this, this, and this. Like, I want you to go out. I want you to say a few things, introduce yourself. Then I want you to introduce the women's division. When they come down, I want you to go through all the women and introduce them. Then the heels will come down. Then you'll have a little back and forth with Britt. So I need you to have something for that segment. I don't know at what point he gave her that information. If it was hours and hours and hours or days before the show, then shame on her, because she could have done work there and she could have done some prep. If it was minutes before, like if it was a case she's standing there going, Tony, you still haven't told me what I'm doing. And he goes, right, okay, this is the plan. And she only found out 10 minutes before, 20 minutes before, half an hour before, an hour before. There's not much you can do in that kind of time. So I'd feel a little bit more sympathy for her. But even so, thinking on your feet, improvising, it's hard to do. And when you've got to remember all that stuff under the bright lights, hard to do. And this is why you need to do your research. This is why you need to have already had stuff on Brit and had some things lined up. So that whatever gets thrown at you, whoever you're working with, whatever segment you're in, you've got some stuff lined up. You've got some stuff that you can go to. But seemingly she just did not do any of that kind of background work. She just turned up, got paid, walked out, and seemingly just tried to rely on her natural ability to talk. And got to tell you, man, she got found out. So I think she'll be all right long term. But yeah, I think that it's a case that she does need to do a bit more background work, and she needs to do a bit more homework, and she needs to maybe even talk to some writers that can kind of give her some pointers on how to structure things. What I don't understand was that she was great when she was a GM. When she was a GM in WWE, I was full of praise for her because she came out. I don't know if that they were scripted and they were short and to the point, and she delivered it well. Maybe it was that. Maybe it was scripted. It was short segments, and all she had to do was just go out and say and deliver it, and she knocked that out the park. And maybe this was different because it was a slightly longer segment. It was a bit more complicated because there was lots of different aspects to it. First part talking on her own. Second part talking about the women's division. Third part interacting with the heels. So, I feel like there was maybe a little bit more to it this time. And as I said, it just didn't go as well. So they'll need to have a look at the structure of it. She'll need to do a bit more research, and yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. She's took a knock. There's no two ways about it. I haven't seen anyone praising what she did. She definitely took a knock, but it's obviously salvageable. It's obviously a bad day at the office. Do you remember the same happened to Britt Baker? One of the worst promos we've ever seen in AEW was a Britt Baker one. It was on the Jericho cruise. I did it was so bad. I did a separate video on it because everyone was talking about how bad it was. And so I ended up doing like a separate video on it. Britt Baker, one of her first promos, she was on the cruise of Jericho, and the wind was blowing. Her hair kept coming into her face, and she was constantly having to try and get her hair out the face. She was talking to Tony Schiavone in the ring. The chemistry wasn't there. Her delivery wasn't there. The stuff she was saying just wasn't making sense. It was just all over the place. It was rubbish. It was absolutely rubbish. And I remember there being a real concern that she couldn't do promos. But what they did was the very next week, she came out and she did a promo and killed it. And it was great. And people were like, oh, okay, maybe she can do promos. And obviously now we know she's brilliant. So, it was, again, a bad day at the office. What Paige needs to do is she really needs some promo time on the show tonight. She should come out tonight, do a promo, and kill it. She should have spent all week, as soon as last week happened, she should have said to Tony, I want to do a promo next week. I want promo time next week on the show. And then they prepare for it. And then literally she goes out tonight and she's going to, deliver it and kill it. And then the talk will be that last week was just, nerves and a bad day at the office. Because that's what Britt Baker did. Right, let's try and get to some of these. Eubank Ben is officially cancelled, said Retribution. It's awful, innit, that? Awful. So Ben was, he's got like drugs in his system, fertility drugs or something. I haven't seen exactly what the details are. But it seemed to be up in the air as to what was happening. I heard Eddie Hearn say that they would still find a way forward with it. But I haven't seen. I mean, has Eddie Hearn come out and said that that's it and it's done? Is that what Eddie Hearn has confirmed? Because that was going to be our... In all fairness, we're fine for this weekend. We've got Extreme Rules coming up, so we're fine. But we was going to try and do Eubank Ben first and then do Extreme Rules straight after. If Eubank Ben is cancelled, it just gives us more time for Extreme Rules, actually. We'll start our Extreme Rules coverage earlier than I planned, so... I mean, we'll be all right, but it's disappointing because I still wanted to see it. Was looking forward to that, says Bonkers. Asib said, do you think Triple H is looking to end the brand split as we're seemingly seeing Raw, SmackDown stars appearing on both shows and on NXT? I can't say I've really thought about it. Would he end the brand split? I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea. I remember that when it was just one roster and it wasn't a brand split, Raw was the show you watched. SmackDown was skippable. To the point where I never used to watch SmackDown. I used to check the results, but never needed to watch SmackDown because if any stories did advance on SmackDown, and actually, to be honest, they rarely did, but if there was anything of note on SmackDown, you would find out about it on Raw anyway. So if there was a story happening on Raw and there was a development on SmackDown, the next Raw, they would tell you about it. You didn't need to watch SmackDown. What you got on SmackDown was you got some really good matches. They really focused on in-ring. But the matches were not really of any consequence. Of course, there was like segments, like, some things that were happening. But a lot of it was just stuff that was playing out on SmackDown and it felt secondary. Any major storylines were being driven through Raw. Raw was the A show. Raw has always been regarded as the A show, but that's why, because Raw was the A show, SmackDown was the B show, and when it was one roster, it just didn't feel like essential viewing. SmackDown suffered. So I think the problem you've got is that if you actually have one roster, you are going to have Roman heavily in demand, Cody heavily in demand, Kevin Owens heavily in demand. Those big names are going to be in big demand for both shows, and you'd struggle to get your lower down talent represented, basically. Well, basically, if you've got one roster, you are going to see a lot of the top stars on both shows, but where does the lower down talent, how do they get onto the show? Now, I understand people could be like, I don't care about them, right? I get that. But you are going to get a bit of burnout because you are going to see, I think seeing the same stars every single week is burnout. I think, Kevin Owens and whoever being on the show every week, like, I remember back in the day when Raw you didn't see everyone every week. It was only an hour and there wasn't enough time to see everyone. So, it was a case that if someone was on the show, then, tune in next week. Kevin Owens is on the show. Oh, wow. Wow, that's amazing. Kevin Owens, that'll be great. I'm looking forward to that. Because you didn't see them every single week. But now you do. You can pretty much guarantee you'll see the top stars every week outside of course, Roman and Brock. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that that's the right way forwards. I think like there's real pros and cons to the brand split. Real pros and cons. I think if both shows are written well, then I can't see a reason why the brand split can't work. I think if you've got great stories being told on Raw, great stories being told on SmackDown, I can't see why the brand split isn't a success and doesn't work. I think the reason why it's a bit flat is because you just haven't. It always seems like Raw's really good, but then SmackDown's rubbish, and then SmackDown's really good, but Raw's a bit rubbish. It's really hard for both shows to be like killing it. I'd say both shows are doing all right at the moment. I'd say both shows are doing all right, but obviously this is a very special time because Triple H has just took over. So, is he going to get rid of the brand split? Don't know. Don't think he should. I don't think though that we should have those. I don't think we should have those rules so tight. I like, for me, if a Raw superstar comes over to SmackDown because they want to do something with them, where's the problem? Like, there's no problem. Like, it's still a SmackDown show, but we're just bringing over a Raw superstar. That's fine. I ain't got an issue with that. No, we could do some fun stuff there. And, vice versa, if we need to bring someone over. I just haven't got an issue. There's no problem with that. I don't feel like it's, a disgrace to the brand split or anything like this, because we've still got the brand split. But if the odd star wants to jump over once in a while and do a little something, yeah, then why not? It's all under the WWE umbrella, isn't it? But I think by and large, keeping the two separate that would probably get my vote. If there was like a vote as to, do you want one roster or do you want to keep the brand split? I think I'd be saying keep the brand split. But there's definitely a better way that we could be presenting it than what we've been doing. And there's things that we could tweak and change about it. Saraya needs tea and biscuit and she will be okay, said X Mulder. Brenton said, expectations for tonight. Are you looking forward to anything? Anything you're dreading? Let's have a look. So we've got Jericho and Sammy against Danielson and Danny Garcia. I think that'll be all right. I don't think there's anything I'm dreading, but what I would say is I think this stuff with Garcia needs to end, because this whole, are you a sports entertainer? Are you a wrestler? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if he's a sports entertainer. I don't care if he's a wrestler, right? I don't care if he's with Jericho. I don't care if he's in Blackpool Combat Club. So that makes it very hard to get invested when you just don't care. I just don't care. I don't care where he goes. Don't care what he does. So, like, that's kind of, this whole story is built around Garcia. I just want him to make his mind up. I just find him to be a very indecisive person. Like, just make your mind up. Are you with Jericho? Are you with Danielson? Like, grow a pair. Make a decision. So, that'll be all right. But the longer this Garcia thing's been going on, the more I'm just, get it. Come on. You know what I mean? So, we've got that tonight. I'll be all right. Hangman against Roosh. I must admit, there's a few things here that haven't got much in the way of a build. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, it might have played out on Rampage, Dark, Elevation, being the Elite, but Hangman versus Roosh? I don't know where that's come from. So I can't say I'm like crazy excited about that, but I'm sure it'll be all right. I'm sure it'll be fine. Wardlow against Brian Cage. That could be pretty fun. I don't know where it's come from. I can't remember Brian. I don't know. The last time I saw Brian Cage, I think I was about 8. I think I was about 8 years old the last time I saw Brian Cage. But two big guys going at it. That'll be fun. Storm, Athena, and Willow against Hayter, Serena, and Penelope Ford. Apparently, Saraya is in one corner, Britt Baker's in the other. That'll be all right. I mean, that kind of builds on last week's segment. So, we've got a face team taking on a heel team with Britt Baker in one corner, Saraya in the other corner. That'll be all right. As I said, that kind of builds from last week. I don't know that the match is going to be anything to write home about, but that's not really the focus. I think the focus is Britt and Saraya. They're clearly on opposing sides. Of course they are. I don't know where we're going. It feels like Saraya versus Britt is the match to make. But are we going to make that match? Can Saraya have a match? I don't know. So when I say that'll be all right, if I can get some clarity as to what's happening, are we building to a match between those guys? That'd be interesting. So we'll see what comes out of that. MJF against Wheeler Yuta. A bit weird for MJF to be in this match because MJF's just like, do you remember when he walked out and he was the talk of the town, and then Vince retired and loads of things just kind of took the focus away. Well, back he came, and now he's in a feud with Wheeler Yuta. Does anyone else find that strange? Wheeler Yuta's a great in-ring talent. He's in Blackpool Combat Club. They've got high hopes for him, so, they're clearly trying to, push him to the moon. And he's in there with MJF, but I just think it's a weird little feud for MJF. I suppose MJF has got that casino chip. So for MJF, he can just do whatever at the moment. In a way, MJF, I suppose, is in that Austin Theory role because Austin Theory can just do whatever. He's got money in the bank. Doesn't matter what he does. He could be going after the 24/7 title. Doesn't make any difference because at the right moment, at any time, he can cash in money in the bank, become world champion. So he can just do whatever he wants at the moment. He doesn't need to be in crazy, strenuous matches because what is there for him to earn? What is there for Austin Theory to achieve? He's already got the golden ticket. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like if you had Willy Wonka's golden ticket, you wouldn't necessarily still be munching down chocolate bar after chocolate bar after chocolate bar, desperately trying to find another because you've got one and he's got one. So he doesn't really need to be chasing anything or doing anything of any significance. So in that regard, I suppose I can understand it. But I think I would like MJF to make his intentions clear. MJF's focus really shouldn't be on Wheeler Yuta. MJF's focus should be on when he's cashing in that chip. And he should be constantly talking about the champion. If anything, I think the way I would book this feud is I would have MJF in the ring talking about how he's going to cash this thing in. He's going to be a world champion, telling everyone what kind of a world champion he's going to be. And Wheeler Yuta keeps coming out and interrupting. Wheeler Yuta should be an inconvenience to MJF. And Wheeler Yuta should be a little thorn in his side. MJF should be telling everyone about how things are going to be once he's world champion. And Wheeler Yuta keeps coming out, and MJF can be really, God, this guy's doing my head in. That's how I would book it. It's not quite the way that it's being booked at the moment, though. The way it's being booked is we had Wheeler Yuta screaming and shouting, having a tantrum, having a little squeaky voice moment, and then MJF casually walks out and puts him down with some vicious kill shots in his promos. So yeah, a little bit of a weird dynamic to this one, but undeniable that there's been some background and there's a bit of a build there. So I'm in a strange way actually looking forward to seeing how that plays out as well. Darby Allin against Jay Lethal. There might be some backstory there, but I honestly, a lot of these kind of moments I feel play out probably in backstage promos, and all these backstage promos just blur into one for me. Hangman Roosh might have come out of a backstage promo. Darby, Jay Lethal might have come out of a backstage promo. None of these are in-ring builds and segments. It's not like I've seen Darby Allin in the ring and Roosh has come out and they've exchanged words, or, it's not like Roosh attacked Darby last week at the end of Darby's match. Some of these matches, I don't know where they've come from. I don't know where Hangman Roosh has come from. I don't know where Wardlow Brian Cage has come from. I don't know where Darby versus Jay Lethal has come from. But as I said, I'm not saying there's been no builds. It's just if it has been backstage promo stuff, I can't remember it. It's passed me by. It's just played out in the background kind of a thing. So little bit of a shame that it's not more significant for the 3-year anniversary show, you know? I wish there was something a bit meatier on this show. What would it be in the 3 year? It kind of feels like this is an average Dynamite, and it just so happens to be the 3-year anniversary. That's kind of how it feels. It feels like this is an average Dynamite, and they've gone, you do know this is the 3-year anniversary. And Tony's gone, oh, brilliant. Let's put that everywhere. Let's tell everyone it's the anniversary show, because people will tune in for that. Oh, are we going to do anything special? No. No, we'll just tell him it's the 3-year anniversary show. That's all we need to do. So, and apparently Luchasaurus is on the show as well. So there's nothing I'm dreading. No, nothing I'm dreading. But equally, I think it probably could be a little meatier if we had kind of booked it like as an anniversary show, you know. Let's go down. Wardlow Cage was an open challenge. Cage answered, "That's it." James, shout out to you. Hangman eliminated Roosh in a battle royal. Brian Cage accepted Wardlow's open challenge. Steve said Tony Khan is too focused at taking shots at WWE. Gordon said, Days, it's Gordon's son, Aries. Hi, Aries. I'm collecting AEW action figures as well as WWE action figures. I've got 160 action figures. I have managed to resist the urge to get any AEW action figures, but I have seen some great ones. Actually, I was on Twitter earlier and someone retweeted their favorite AEW action figure. It was a great Kenny Omega one. It's Kenny Omega in like a shirt. It was like a blue top and like a Hawaiian type shirt. And he had the AEW championship over his shoulder. He had shades on and it seriously looked great. It did look great. They haven't made the figures that I'm waiting for, and that's the FTR ones with the FTR jackets. You know, those black jackets with like the kind of rainbow colors around there, and then it's got FTR written on. I'd be tempted to pick them up. I think if they did a double pack with both of FTR wearing those jackets, and if there was a way, I don't know if there would be, but if there was a way of getting the IWGP tag belts and the AAA tag belts, I mean, that would look great, wouldn't it? I mean, where else are you going to get the AAA tag belts in little figure form? I don't even know if AAA have got figures. So I don't know if you can get them in like little figure form. So if there was any way that they could get the rights to make those belts and the jackets, little box set, God, that'd be brilliant. That'd be great. And then like if people bought that, then of course, even if you collect WWE, you've got these internationally recognized championships that you can use. That would be really cool if Jazzwares could bring in some of those external belts into the AEW line, you know. They've cancelled Andrade's match at Rampage versus 10, says Kyle. In Alice in Wonderland, the rabbit's watch is slow, 2 days slow. Theory is the reveal is on Raw on Monday, sticks with the theme, and would hopefully be a way to surprise everyone, says Adam. It's a fun theory. It's a fun theory. I mean, I don't think the reveal will be Monday because I think that everything's been pointing to Extreme Rules, unless they're going to do like a massive White Rabbit final clue at Extreme Rules. But I really would not recommend that. I would not recommend that because the biggest criticism you can have of the White Rabbit stuff is the fact that it's such a distraction. And I think it's one thing to distract from a normal Raw and a normal SmackDown. You do not want to distract during Extreme Rules. They've surely got to know what people are doing when they drop those QR codes. They've got to know that everyone's off being Columbo. So why would you do that during the pay-per-view? Why would you distract everyone from a show that really does have significance and does matter? Here's MJF. We're going to start the show. We are up and running. Big shout out to everyone that's joining us this week for AEW. MJF making his way down. It's going to be MJF against Wheeler Yuta. Now, I'm quite interested in this. As you said, this should be an inconvenience for MJF. But a great opportunity for him to show just how good of a wrestler he is. Don't know where we are tonight, but doesn't feel like the biggest of arenas because you've got the entrance stage and then you've got a very small little ramp. And it actually goes straight to the ring. Yeah, I don't know. This weird little arena, it's all right. It's all right. It's a nice little wrestling arena. Here's Wheeler Yuta. I think he's got a record of 14-10, which not the best, is it really? 14-10. Good wrestler, though. Should be a good match. I mean, one thing that you can say about Wheeler Yuta is his in-ring is very impressive. So Wheeler Yuta getting into the ring. MJF is already in the ring as well, and we're going to be underway with this one very, very soon. Justin said, I've got 300 WWE action figures with no doubles of anyone. That's a good way of doing it. That's a good way of doing it. Right, MJF is in the corner. And Wheeler Yuta is asking him to step forward. MJF ducks underneath as they go to lock up, and MJF struts away. Little smirk on his face. So Wheeler Yuta with his hands on his hips. MJF taking a moment just to shrug. Goes to lock up, does lock up. Drives Wheeler Yuta back into the corner. Goes to strike Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta with big overhands coming in. Kick to the midsection of MJF. Again, big shot there by Wheeler Yuta. It is National Scissoring Day, isn't it? So that means we've got the... I haven't seen the Acclaimed mentioned in a match, but we should get the Acclaimed. And now Wheeler Yuta is strutting. Wheeler Yuta getting the better of that exchange. Drop kick. Nice drop kick there by Wheeler Yuta. Yuta picking up. Slamming down MJF. Wheeler Yuta going over to the corner. Yuta climbing up top. MJF down in the center of the ring. And MJF starts to roll to the other side. I'm glad that he did that because he'd been lying there for a while. I think if Wheeler Yuta had landed an elbow or something there, it would have looked a little bit off because MJF had been lying there a long time. So he did just start to roll away. Kicks coming in there by MJF. So we've got Wheeler Yuta in the corner. MJF going over, grabs Wheeler Yuta, looking to hurl him to the other side, flips him over, actually. Thought he was going to just Irish whip him, but he actually flips him over. And goes over to the corner and poses. Yuta won, and Tony Khan turns heel on Yuta, said Richard. Miss Clown, hello, hope you are well. Serge said it's National Scissoring Day. MJF got bank, now show what you got, said X Mulder. Got a chin lock at the moment, chin lock on Wheeler Yuta. I mean, this is perfectly fine. This is perfectly serviceable. I'm into this. Strike coming into the midsection by Wheeler Yuta. Elbow again. Wheeler Yuta round the back of MJF. MJF. Oh, backbreaker by MJF. Gut wrench Slams down Yuta. 1, 2. Kick out by Yuta. Days tweeted you something from TMZ about Andrade and Sammy being sent home before the show started after an altercation. Sean Ross Sapp has made a reference to this not that long ago. I just don't know. I really, really don't know. AEW stars Sammy Guevara and Andrade were just involved in a backstage altercation, sources tell TMZ. Both wrestlers have been sent home. Okay, have we got the TMZ report? Have we got the TMZ report? Let's have a little look. I mean, I just don't know. If sources are reporting it, that makes me feel like something must have happened then. If sources are reporting it, it makes me think something must have happened, but I just have not got a read on this at all. I will hold my hands up. I will completely hold my hands up on this. I cannot for the life of me get a read as to whether this is true or not. I just don't know. I just don't know. My first thought when I saw it and the story was coming through was that they were trying to work an angle. That was my honest first thought. My first thought was they were trying to work an angle. Now, if sources are saying that something's gone down, I have to start to lean towards the fact that it's legit and that there is something to this. So let me get the article on screen for you. Let me try and make it a bit bigger. I might even chuck this up as a separate video because it feels like this is going to be a big story. I haven't really touched it because I was under the belief that there might be. I was under the belief that this really could be a work, as I said, but maybe it is a shoot. Big breaking news emerging, and you can see on screen TMZ Sports are reporting that Sammy Guevara and Andrade have been involved in a backstage altercation. Now, this is coming from sources. I'm guessing that means multiple sources. Apparently, the incident happened at AEW show in Washington tonight at the time of recording this. It's unclear if anyone was hit. It's a weird thing to write, isn't it? We're told the dust-up was not part of an AEW storyline. And that's actually really important because, to be honest, my gut feeling when I saw this was that it was potentially a work. I really could not get a read as to whether they're back and forth on Twitter, which is how this has seemingly come to light. A real back and forth on Twitter between Andrade and Sammy. This kind of played out, I believe, on Tuesday. I couldn't get a read as to whether that was real or not. But now we're getting this report coming through that there has been a backstage altercation. Nothing in the way of details at this point. Obviously, we're still waiting to find those out. But yeah, big breaking news that Sammy and Andrade have been involved in a fight. And that could obviously mean more suspensions and maybe even someone leaving AEW. So obviously an emerging story, a developing story this evening regarding AEW. I'm going to chuck that up as a separate video. I just don't know. I don't know if there's anything to it. But that's interesting in it. Shout out to people that let us know about that. We're still underway with our first match, by the way. I mean, sources are reporting it, and, you know, they're saying that this is not part of a story. Right. MJF in the corner, back elbow by MJF. I wonder what's happened. I mean, those information should come through. I'd imagine all the dirt sheet's going to be on it. How dare they have a backstage altercation and it not be involved in a media scrum? How dare they? Don't they know that's the AEW way? You've got to wait for a media scrum. Not allowed to just go and have a backstage altercation on your own. Duck underneath by MJF. MJF grabbing Wheeler Yuta as he jumped into the air. Turned it into a power bomb. 1, 2. And shoulder up. So, power bombed it. He actually, in retrospect, power bombed him into a backbreaker. Keep an eye on Twitter because obviously this is going to be a developing story. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out, what news comes through, what's Meltzer saying, what's Sean Ross Sapp saying, what details can people find. Big chops coming in by Wheeler Yuta right now. Wheeler Yuta in control, grabbing the leg of MJF. But thumb to the eye by MJF. Oh, drop kick. MJF goes down. So both guys are down in the ring at the moment. Just seeing a nice swooping shot of the crowd. So we found out from that we're in Washington tonight. So Washington, D.C. tonight for this 3-year anniversary. What better place for two superstars to fall out than at the 3-year anniversary? What a wonderful way to mark your anniversary by having more backstage drama. It is crazy, isn't it? It is crazy, this backstage drama. These two reversing position. Gut wrench into a pile driver. Yuta reverses. They're just constantly going back and forth. To reverse by Yuta. Yuta looking. No, reversed by MJF too. Kick out by Yuta. They double clothesline each other. Both guys go down. Crowds applauding. These two really going at it. Yeah, these two doing a really good job in the open, actually. So we're already 15 minutes into the show. AEW chants breaking out from the crowd. I'm guessing the crowd haven't heard the news. Let's go into the chat. Fightful have tweeted again. The dozens of fans are going wild. If they sent Andrade home, that's a shame. I think they've sent Andrade home. I think they've probably sent Sammy home as well. As I said, this almost certain to lead to suspensions. I don't see how it doesn't. I tell you what's disappointing is the fact that they weren't able to settle this. Because everyone saw this playing out on social media. I've got to think Tony saw it as well. I mean, look, maybe Tony grabbed them both, brought them into a room and just couldn't get it settled. No, maybe there was no way of getting it settled, but disappointing that it's gone this far. Right, up in the corner. He's going for an avalanche tombstone pile driver here, MJF. MJF has got Wheeler Yuta up in the corner. Yuta's reversed it, though. He's raking the eyes of MJF. Still up in the corner. What's he? I can't tell what he's going for. He's actually walking on the ropes here, Wheeler Yuta. Head scissors, take over, goods, gets it. Yuta goes against the ropes, in between, suicide dive. And MJF goes into the barricade hard. Wheeler Yuta does have momentum right now. Wheeler Yuta in control. Wheeler Yuta is going up top as MJF tries to roll away again. Little callback to what we got earlier in the show. Oh, Wheeler Yuta still makes it, though. 2. And kick out by MJF. Hey, what? They're giving this match time, aren't they? Just seeing a replay of it. This is awesome. Chant breaking out. It's good. It is a good match, in all fairness. It is a good match. MJF has got Fujiwara armbar on. He's got it in quite deep, actually. Punk was one of the best in his era in the ring, said Jim. This is a worthless match. Oh, he's tapped him. He's tapped him with the armbar. It's a win for MJF. I thought that was an all right open. I thought it was entertaining. So it's a win for MJF. As we said, 18 minutes into the show. Obviously, the big focus, the big news is on this backstage brawl. I'm just going to jump into my Twitter notifications. See people sending stuff through on this. Sean Ross Saps said, great opener with MJF and Wheeler Yuta. Andrade and Sammy were involved in an altercation. At least one wrestler was sent home, Fightful has learned. We will be updating on Fightful Select. Let me just have a look at Fightful Select and see what's on there then. Logan Paul's trending. Don't know why. Meltzer's trending. Perhaps they were involved. Wheeler Yuta went to shake MJF's hand, but here we go. This is from Fightful Select. It is happening again. Another backstage altercation took place at All Elite Wrestling. Sources familiar with the situation claim that the October 5th AEW Dynamite show, there was an altercation between Andrade and Sammy Guevara. The two had taken shots in recent interviews and on social media, and it came to a head at the Dynamite taping. Andrade was removed from a scheduled Mask versus Korea match against Dark Order's 10, with the latter remaining on the Rampage schedule. Those that we spoke to said there was a verbal altercation that got physical, with Sammy Guevara shoving Andrade. Andrade threw a punch. Okay, so we have got some more information here. So there we go. Oh, hello. William Regal's put some brass knucks on. Hang on. Regal's put some brass knucks on. So we've got MJF in the middle of the ring. William Regal stepping between the ropes with some brass knucks on. Go on, Regal. Go on, Regal. Regal says, go on, go for it. Hit me. You effed up is the chant by the crowds. Taz said maybe Regal did mess up. And there we go. MJF walks away. MJF walks away. That was pretty cool. That was all right. That was an all right little moment. Seeing William Regal put the knucks on. I'm down for that. Right, okay. So we're learning some stuff here. Those that we spoke to say there was a verbal altercation that got physical. Sammy Guevara shoved Andrade, and Andrade threw a punch. We're not sure if the punch actually connected. That's breaking news, guys. We don't know if the punch connected. But we're told it was not part of a grander work. I think that's a Wallace and Gromit film, isn't it? Wasn't there a Wallace and Gromit film called A Grander Work? At least one and possibly both wrestlers were removed from the taping and sent home. TMZ has confirmed this report. Andrade posted, "Respect me and I'll respect you" on social media shortly after. Earlier today, Fightful noted that several in AEW were frustrated by the situation in light of the locker room being more cohesive in recent weeks. That's true, isn't it, actually? There had been reports that the locker room was in a much better place now. That's true. Not anymore. Well, probably now that it is, but yeah. Sammy is still on the show tonight, says Esteban. Favoritism. That's all that is. Flipping favoritism. I'm going to put this in Fightful are reporting that Sammy... Fightful are reporting that Sammy shoved Andrade and Andrade threw a punch. It is unconfirmed if the punch landed. I hope it did. I hope he knocked him spark out. And then I hope he found Ty Conti. Started laying the boots into her as well. I find them both very annoying. In all fairness, they're meant to be annoying. I find them annoying in a heelish way. And that's what they're meant to be. I still like the idea of Sammy being knocked out, though. There he is now. Yeah, there he is. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's got no black eye or anything. Oh, God. Is there a little mark on the left cheek? Let's have a look. Oh, God, Andrade. You had one job, Andrade. You had one job. Oh. Damn it. Sammy is loved by the crowds. Everyone in the crowds knows what's happened. Big boo. Sammy looks fine. He does look fine. Did look fine. Did you see Andrade has said that Charlotte is off due to personal issues? I did, yeah, I did. He said that she'll make them own soon, so obviously just hope she's all right. I mean, when she first went away, we knew she was getting married, and I think there was a bit of surgery that was needed. But I mean, it has been going on for quite a while, hasn't it now? So kind of felt like something wasn't quite right. Here's Darby Allin. WrestleLandy said, now that we've seen HBK, Flair, and Austin come out of retirement, would you like to see more from Regal? I don't know, to be honest, because Regal, I don't know him. We know that he's not in a great place. I mean, his health-wise is, I don't think he's got it anymore. He had a heart scare, didn't he? I'm trying to think exactly what he had, but I know it's something to do with his heart. I mean, you can't mess around with that. I know Flair did, but no one wanted to see Flair come in back. It's only, like, you know, Flair that just wouldn't give it up. So, no. If he hadn't had the health issues, then yeah, definitely. But the health stuff, nah, I don't. We've got enough wrestlers. There's enough wrestlers in the world. I don't know that we need to be dragging out boomers. Even if they're great boomers. Looks like it'll be an extended stream. Excalibur said there's going to be more content after the second hour ends. Huh? What does it mean? It's going to be more content. What? Overrun? Oh, not an overrun. We don't need overruns. Most of these wrestling companies can't manage to put on a good 2 hours. We don't need 2 hours 15. Unless we get an interview with Andrade at home. If we get that, lovely. I'll take that. Join us at the end of Dynamite. We'll be going live to Andrade to get his thoughts on the backstage altercation with Sammy Guevara. I'm here for that. I'm here for that. Andrade and Charlotte. Yeah. Join us for the overrun. We're going to have Andrade and Charlotte Flair taking on Conti and Sammy Guevara. Loser leaves AEW, which wouldn't really work because Charlotte's not there anyway. But I'd watch that. I'd still watch. Darby Lethal at the moment. Supposedly, Andrade's match is cancelled, says Homework. It's an extended episode for the anniversary, says Heather. Did you enjoy Fallout 3 earlier? Oh, I did, yeah. I did. I was playing Fallout 3 earlier. I bought it earlier today because it was on... It was on sale. You can get Fallout 3... How much did I pay for Fallout 3 now? I think I paid $3.99 and it's Game of the Year edition. I've already got Fallout 3, but I don't have Game of the Year edition. So I bought it earlier and I bought Fallout 4 with it as well. And I must admit, they're games that I've played Fallout 3 before, but I never completed it. And they're games that I really have wanted to like get back into. So I only bought them earlier today as well. But I thought, do you know what? I could do a White Rabbit video, but there's not... We've kind of covered everything. There's a few bits doing the rounds, but there's nothing massive for us to do. I mean, I might do a White Rabbit video tomorrow and just tie up any loose ends, but really that's where we are with it. We're kind of... I think you lot do a fantastic job of getting all the major theories in those first couple of hours after White Rabbit. Chuck them into a video, get the video out there. That's it. The stuff that comes out after is all little watch, think about this, watch, think about that. It's all fun stuff, but nothing urgent. So I was like, I probably could have a look into that a bit more, scrabble something together. But I thought, you know what? I'm gonna have a go on Fallout 3. I just bought it, so I was like, you know, I'm gonna have a go at it. So I did play that. I played it for, I don't know how long, good few hours. I'm going to have another couple of hours after this, actually, on it. It was good. The only problem is, it's so big, Fallout 3, that you spend a lot of time just walking, which is really dull. You, like, just walking. But, yeah, I did enjoy it. Definitely, I want to complete Fallout 3, and I'd like to complete Fallout 4. Then they're the only games that I really care about. Elbow drops by Jay Lethal. He's got the leg of Darby Allin. Jay Lethal in control right now. Discord showed that you was playing it for about an hour-ish. Oh, no, it was a bit longer, actually. It's a bit longer. I played it for... Well, I would say at least 3 hours, probably maybe even a little bit more than that. But yeah, I'll play it a little bit later as well. You should stream it on Twitch. Oh no, I'm awful at games. I don't play games. Walk-ins good exercise. You can fast travel. Plus you get DLC with the Game of the Year edition. Yeah, you can only fast travel when you actually go somewhere though. So you have to wonder. So if they give you a mission and you need to go to the, I don't know, the town or whatever, you can't just fast track to the town. You have to have at least gone there once. So you've got to have wandered everywhere at least once, and then you can fast travel. So obviously, because I've only just started the game, I'm still going to places for the first time. So, once you've gone everywhere once, then yes, you can zip around. But yeah, it's a good game. It's a good game. But obviously there's loads of side missions. And I think I've done a few side missions too early because I've come across like some creatures that are just killing me. Like, I'm not the best anyway, but I feel like I'm probably doing a side mission that I'm not meant to be doing yet. I probably need like better weapons than what I've got and everything. So I'm thinking of maybe not doing the side missions at the moment and trying to do like the main story instead and try and progress a bit more. So, but no, it's good. I've always enjoyed Fallout 3. I have played it before, but I think I got about 60% through or something. I can't remember what happened. I think I got lost. I seriously think I got lost and I couldn't figure out where I was and what I was doing and anything. And I don't know why, because you've obviously got like the information to hand. So I can't figure out how I got lost. But we're at picture in picture at the moment. If you was wondering, we're a quarter of the way through the show. Obviously, the big news is we are awesome. That's the big news. Big breaking news. We are amazing. But yeah, we are living in a world where there's been a big falling out. I'm just having a look, seeing what stuff is coming through. If only Andrade is punished for this, I can see many people turning against the company. Tony needs to do something really soon and not just a talent meeting. White Rabbit clue. Purple, maybe a clue. Seth Rollins has put some crosses through DC, but they're purple crosses. I feel like that's Seth just knowing what he's doing. I think Seth knows that if he puts them on, it'll get people talking. Avalanche Dragon Screw by Jay Lethal. Figure 4 leg lock applied. Figure 4 leg lock. So I don't think the story has progressed much. I'm just having a look. People just obviously sharing the same kind of information around at the moment as you would expect. Sean Ross Sapp said, big boos for Sammy when he spoke on Dynamite. Sammy is still at Dynamite. We just saw that. Great open. We saw that. Yeah, I think we're up to date. What was your favorite subject in school, said Stan? Probably drama. I love drama at school, which is really funny because I never pursued it. I mean, I did when I went to college, but I did not do it at GCSE. I didn't do it at school. I wasn't in the school plays or anything, but it's really random. But when I did drama, I loved it. Loved it. I don't know why I didn't choose it. I don't know. I look back on my life and there's just random things that I just cannot explain. I cannot explain why because you get to choose what you want to do when you're in year 9, 10, and 11, what you want to do for your GCSEs. So do you want to do French, or you choose a language? Do you want to do French? Do you want to do German? I can't remember what else. French, German. I think there was another one. And like, do you want to do geography, RE, history? Like, you choose one of those. And then, like, do you want to do PE? Do you want to do drama? You have to choose one. Like, they're called options, your options. And you choose what you want to do. I didn't choose drama, and I don't know why. I loved it. I loved PE as well. I love sport. So doing sport, doing drama, that's me. I'm much more that than, maths, science. The clever stuff. I'm not so much the clever stuff. Oh, give me a script, though. Whew. Darby has rolled up Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal has reversed it. Crowd are a bit quiet for this one. Darby stepping through, trying to get the pin too, and he's going to get it. Darby gets the win. Darby gets the win. Darby beats Jay Lethal. Darby steals it again. Kind of cool that AEW's back in the same city that the debut episode was, says Brenton. Christian said, can't wait to see Saraya and Wardlow versus Cage. Jay Loser said Zoom Station. Jay Loser. Well done. Well done. Well done, you. Darby Allin having a few words with Jay Lethal. Darby saying you don't need them because we've got Satnam Singh. Darby pushing Jay Lethal, trying to get through to him. Jay Lethal shakes Darby's hand. There's a handshake. Jay Lethal, though, still walks away with Satnam Singh. But Jay Lethal did shake the hand of Darby. We're going to Brian Cage. Who the hell are these? Who the hell are these? The who? The what? The embassy. Who are these people? Where have these come from? This isn't a comeback. This is Brian Cage's arrival. So we've got Brian Cage. We're in the money. I have no idea who that faction is. Okay, here we go. This is one people were looking forward to. It's going to be Wardlow against Brian Cage. Hoss fight. Big Hoss fight. Brian Cage. I'm more confused by that than I am White Rabbit clues. Does Cage win the championship tonight? It'd be pretty cool if he did, actually. I'd be all right if he did. I mean, Brian Cage deserves something. Okay, so this guy, whoever he is, used his family's wealth to put this faction together. I can get on board with this faction. I just don't know who they are. But I'm into that. There's a guy who's using his money to put this faction together. Wardlow chants. Here's Wardlow. Wardlow steps out. If Wardlow dropped the TNT title, you could start talking about moving him to the top of the cards. Tony said, I don't think this will be a match. I think it'll be a collision. Cage Wardlow is a bad match as both need wins, says Junior. He doesn't need a damn stable, said Versus. He brought the faction from Tully Blanchard on Ring of Honor. I don't know this faction. I don't know this faction. I don't think what Tully Blanchard was doing before he went, and I can't remember. Right, here we go. Wardlow chants as Cage steps forward. Right hand drives Wardlow back in the corner. Big strikes. Driving his shoulder into the midsection. Shots coming in. Wardlow in the corner as Brian Cage comes back over. These two locking up. Wardlow hurling Cage in the corner. Nice strikes there by Wardlow. He now drives his shoulder into the midsection of Brian Cage. Wardlow grabbing Cage, hurling him over to the other side. Clothesline as Wardlow goes back. Clothesline by Wardlow. So, big shot there. Strike coming back. These blows coming back and forth. Knee to the midsection by Cage. Against the ropes goes Wardlow. Duck underneath. Wardlow. Nice, good. Nice head scissor takedown there by Wardlow. As Tony Schiavone said, it's amazing that a guy of his size can do that. And I do agree. Wardlow in position for a 619, but he gets caught, Brian Cage. These two guys showing just incredible agility. Brian Cage gets planted down by Wardlow, though. Wardlow back in control. Crowd seemingly are into this. I felt the crowd were a bit quiet in that last match, but they're seemingly into this one. Wardlow is grabbing Cage. He's got him in the center of the ring, looking for a power bomb, but Cage goes down to one knee. That guy on the outside trying to provide a distraction. Does provide a distraction as Cage delivers a power bomb. Picture in picture. Was that a Jay Lethal face turn? 1 for 2 in after match handshakes so far. Don't know. I mean, he still walked off with Satnam Singh. So I don't know that it's a face turn. It was definitely a show of respect. It was definitely a show of respect. Not picture in picture here, said Lone Star Friends. Oh, well, Excalibur. We don't get picture in picture, so I have to just go by what Excalibur says. Excalibur just said we went to picture in picture. Shredded cheese packages typically contain cellulose, also known as wood pulp or sawdust, to prevent them from clumping. Oh. It's National Scissoring Day, so it's still to come. We do have the Acclaimed. We've also got Hangman Page against Roosh. So we've got that Luchasaurus. It just says Luchasaurus in action. Luchasaurus in action. So, yeah, at the moment, it's all Brian Cage. So, all Brian Cage at the moment. I don't know. It's gone a bit flat, so I don't know if we are at picture in picture. Crowd looks a bit bored, said James. Yeah, well, I agree. It's gone a little flat. Sometimes when it does that, it's just because the action's gone a little bit slower because we are in picture. Over in the corner now, they're working on each other, and we just saw Brian Cage. Literally, we just went to the worst camera there. We just went to the worst camera. We just cut to the camera in the corner, just as you could see Brian Cage saying a few things to Wardlow. Obviously, you can always play it off that he was trash talking him, but he was calling a spot. I'm sure anyone that's got the ability to mouth read could figure out exactly what he said there. Knee to the midsection, forearm strike by Brian Cage. Headbutt there by Brian Cage. Kick to the midsection. Brian Cage in control. Becky Lynch tweeted a picture. No more arm in a sling. Looks like she's getting ready for a comeback, said Hop Along Chris. You mentioned you got no AEW figures, says Brenton. Not much of a figure guy. but a cousin of mine got a Jericho figure with a hat. I think it's the Painmaker one, and it looked good. I know that one. Yeah, I know that one. That's good, yeah. With the spiked jacket and the hat and the face paint. It's good. There's some great ones. I mean, they've done the Jazzwares, I think, have done a great job. Brilliant job. Wow. Wardlow goes up. Comes twisting down with like a twisting senton. That was very impressive. Lovely German suplex there by Wardlow. Duck underneath. Another German suplex by Wardlow. Going for another, but back elbows here by Brian Cage. Belly to belly. Belly to belly, and we've got Brian Cage down. Wardlow on his feet. Wardlow going to the outside. Looks like he's going to go up top. This match has been going for a little while, isn't it? And this match has had some time. Top rope Enziguri. Do you think MJF will turn face as an anti-hero type? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they had the opportunity to do that. I think when he was away, they had the opportunity to bring him back as an anti-hero type, and they didn't do it, didn't go for it. So I can't say I've seen anything or can see any reason as to why they would do it. I think he's so good as a natural heel, a 100% heel. Yeah, I don't know why they would look to do that. A few "this is awesome" chants from the crowd. Against the ropes goes Brian Cage. Wow. Single arm power bomb by Wardlow. Shoulder up by Brian Cage. Little distracted, obviously, with the news. I don't know that we're going to get anything else. Sammy for World Champ said if Tony doesn't start getting things in order real soon, this could just get run into the ground. Cage and Wardlow are going at it, boys and girls. Eric Bischoff said, great match. No idea why it's happening, but hey, this is awesome chant, and it's National Scissoring Day. By the way, what's the main event tonight? So maybe a little bit of shade there by Eric Bischoff. Headbutt by Wardlow. Headbutt by Wardlow. Straps coming down by Wardlow. Wardlow looks like he's getting ready to put Cage away. Trying to pick him up. Powerbomb. Big powerbomb there by Wardlow. A 300-pound powerbomb, said Alexis. Main event tonight is a lot of scissoring, Daddy, said Knight Rider, yes. I'm all right with that. That'll be the greatest main event in the history of wrestling. If we all just scissor each other. Oh, yeah. Another powerbomb. Here we go. Looks like it's the beginning of the end now. Wardlow starting to feel it. Starting to feel it. Wardlow looking out to the crowds. Seba said, I really hate AEW. They stopped a YouTube cast to Lat AM. What's Lat AM? What's that? Latam. What's Latam? Doesn't he play for Sweden? 1, 2, 3. And there we go. It's a pin. What's LATAM? I've just Googled it, and there is a LATAM Airlines. I've got a feeling it's probably something to do with Latin America. Guys, please don't forget I'm sat here in the UK. Yeah. I don't know all these terms. Unless we're going to be talking about the royal family, I'm lost. Latin America. So what is it called? Latin America is called LATAM for short, is it? I have never heard that. Never heard that. I've never heard LATAM. Samoa Joe has come racing down. Oh, Samoa Joe's going mental. So it's a win for Wardlow. Brian Cage is up like nothing has happened. Brian Cage is as fresh as he was at the start of the match. Look at him. Brian Cage is going over to Wardlow. Yep, no problem whatsoever. Who are these people? Who is this Umaga wannabe? Who is he? Umaga. It's the fake Umaga. Umaga. FTR are coming down. If this was Vince, it'd be a 6-man tag match now. Here they are, FTR. FTR chasing Umaga. Cage. I don't know who the other dude is. Predator. Oh, they're pushing and shoving each other, pushing and shoving the manager and everything now. What are they called? The Gates of Agony? Is that their name? The Gates of Agony? The Gates of Agony? The Gates of Agony. How do I feel about that? I don't know. The Gates of Agony. I like the gates of something. Agony. I don't know. The Gates of Agony. Agony makes me think of agony aunts. You know, when like you've got like a problem and you write into a magazine. Treat me the way you used to. What do I do? I think he's cheating on me. That'd be good. Imagine if you could send in your personal problems to the Gates of Agony aunts. And the Gates of Agony answer all of your problems. That would be nice. I think my boyfriend's cheating on me. He keeps going off and talking on the phone in the bathroom and he's in there for about an hour. Enigma, shout out to you. Agony makes me think of work and girlfriends. Oh. Sounds like you've got a few problems. The days of agony. I like the gates of something. Because then you can call them the gates for short. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe not the Gates of Agony. It's not the worst. It's not the worst. I've definitely... The Gates of Hell. Said Christian, the Gates of Hell. The reply is, we don't care, get over it, yes. The reply is, we're the Gates of Agony, do one. They're a wannabe AOP. I have to say, the show is an 8.5, pushing a 9 so far. The only bad thing is the backstage promo, and even that wasn't bad. Still, acclaimed segment to come. Well, let's do halftime scores. I know we're 6 minutes early, but... Halftime scores, everybody, it's the halftime scores. I really want to know your halftime
Agony
scores.
experience.
Put it
Very
in
good.
the chat. Halftime scores.
The new Agony.
Everybody, it's the halftime scores. Are you happy? It's the halftime scores.
Matt.
Are you happy or you sad? Yes. Halftime scores. Everybody, it's the halftime scores.
Yes.
I should get that recorded. If I got it recorded, I could just press play then. Just sit here like this. Matt's right. Matt's absolutely right. Matt said it should be the Gates of Anarchy. That is so much better. That is so much better. You've nailed it. I was chewing on something around that kind of agony did not sit right. The Gates of Agony. The word agony does not conjure up it doesn't conjure up the kind of suffering that I think they want. I think they've called it the Gates of Agony because they want it to be like, these are the, the bringers of suffering. But agony, it makes me think of agony aunts, as I said. It makes me think of that kind of a thing. So it doesn't quite land. But you're right, the Gates of Anarchy is, and yeah, the Gates of Anarchy, and the Gates are here. Oh, I love the Gates. Like, you could call them the Gates for short. Their long name is the Gates of Anarchy. Oh, put that in a postcard, send it in to Tony Khan. That's a much better name. That's a much better name. I completely agree. Nailed it. Right, 775 said Heather. But it could tank if they're not careful. 8 said Just Nick. 7.5, the Gates of Delirium. The Gates of Delirium. I prefer Gates of Anarchy. I think that's nailed it. I think don't know that there'll be anything that'll top that one. But Gates of Delirium is better than Gates of Agony. Gates of Pain. The Gates of Pain. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Makes me think of the Powers of Pain. That's not a bad comparison, is it? The Gates of Pain. Yeah, I'm all right with that. I'm all right with the Gates of Pain. I still prefer Gates of Anarchy, but I'm all right with the Gates of Pain. Who have we got coming out? We've got Penelope Ford. So on to the ladies match right now, guys. Woo! So, 6-woman tag match. 6-woman tag. There's Box Boy with Penelope. Here's Serena Deeb. Serena Deeb making her way out. With a flag. What's her flag say? What's her flag say? The flag say? She's come out with a flag and I can't see what it says. Why bring it out if we can't see it? Here's Jamie Hayter. Good reaction to Jamie Hayter. Yeah. Tony said Jamie Hayter gets a great reaction from the fans. People can see it. I think there's Hayter chance. She's getting over, man. She's getting over. So we got Brit's out there. We got Serena Deeb, Jamie Hayter, Penelope Ford. Here is Saraya. She looks good. Saraya coming out. Working the crowds. Looking great. Here's Willow Nightingale coming out. Don't know much about her. 5-6 is her record. Not the greatest records. Mitchell said, the gates of an apartment complex. If you knew how much damage those things took from cars. The gates of an apartment complex. Why am I over there? I should be over here. When did I zip over there? I'm all over the road. I'm all over the road. The gates of an apartment. Even that's better than the gates of agony. Athena and Tony Storm. If you just knew how much damage those things took from cars ramming into them, you would really appreciate it. Okay. Tony showing off the championship. She backed into Willow. Willow was standing behind her, and Tony, as she backed up, they just knocked into each other. Little smile, and we are ready to get underway. Willow is starting things off. Willow wanting Jamie Hayter. Looks like these two are going to start us off. Yes, lovely work. Lovely work. Jamie Hayter tags straight out. In goes Penelope. So Jamie Hayter, that's nice. That's nice. Classic. It's classic. Against the ropes goes Penelope. Yeah, nice. Athena lands on her feet. Oof. Athena just did this. I'm not lying. She just did that. Penelope tried to do a head scissors and take over Athena. Athena landed on her feet. She turned around and went, this is wrestling. This is wrestling. There's not enough of that in wrestling. Definitely not enough of that. What feud would not be enhanced with one wrestler turned into the other going, I don't even know what this means. I mean, I've done it in my life. I've done it maybe when I was like 4. But what does it mean? I don't know. We all remember the Rock and Stone Cold at WrestleMania. Locking up. What? He pulls elbows and... We all remember Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. You remember, don't you? You remember when Hogan tried to slam Andre? And he tried to pick him up and he couldn't do it. Oh, he struggled at first like this. Tried to slam him. Oh, I can't do it. My back. And Andre went, yeah. Like that. That's classic. That's a proper WrestleMania moment, that is. Ah, what a time to be alive. The gates of God, said Stan. The gates of God. Yeah, I can get with that. The gates of God. The gates of God. The gates of gods. The gates of gods. I think I would put an S on it. I'd go with the gates of gods. The gates of gods. Still better than the gates of agony. I don't hate the gates of agony. Let's make that clear. I don't hate it. I just think that it can be improved, as you are proving. Upcut there by Serena. Still to come is National Scissoring Day. I don't know that that's true, by the way. There probably is a National Scissoring Day, but is it today? Let's have a look. National Scissoring Day. Let's see if that is a thing. National Scissoring Day. National Scissoring Day. It's all about AEW. But excuse me. I've gone full on Vicky Guerrero. National Scissoring Day is the 13th of April. So there is a National Scissoring Day, and it is not today. It is the 13th of April. What a thing to lie about. Of all the things in the world to lie about, I did not ever expect a wrestling company to lie about when National Scissoring Day was. But this is the world we live in. This is the world that we live in. We live in a world where arguably the second biggest wrestling company in the world is lying to its fans about when National Scissoring Day is, claiming that it is today, when in actual fact, it is the 13th of April. Unbelievable. That's where it's all gone wrong. If you can't even tell the truth about that, what hope is there? Jamie Hayter's in there at the moment. Penelope Ford going up top. Penelope Ford with the double axe handle comes crashing down on Toni Storm. And it hurts inside. In comes Serena Deeb. haven't seen much of Serena Deeb in this. Haven't seen much of Deeby. Deeb's in there with Tony. Nice headlock takeover. Grabbing the arms. Nice. Straight jacket. Applied. The gates of fate, said Kevin. Yeah, I can take that. I am running with scissors. Dr. Fraser Crane on the show Cheers. I haven't seen much of Cheers, you know. It's shown all the time. Every morning here in the UK, they tend to play Cheers on Channel 4, which is one of our big channels. Frasier, King of Queens, Cheers. For some reason, those shows just keep getting shown in the morning on one of our major channels. The other channels obviously have, like, you know, Good Morning Britain and BBC Breakfast. BBC Breakfast, Good Morning Britain. Channel 4 has got Frasier, Cheers, King of Queens. Ledge Killer, shout out to you. Travis said Tony Khan's lied about everything. I'm still waiting for a sports-based presentation. That is true, actually. That is true. Maybe this isn't the biggest of lies that they've told. Nice Inzaguri. There's Saraya on the outside. Haven't seen much of her either. Clothesline by Willow. Back elbow by Willow. Oh, planted it down. Lovely. Spinebuster. Oh, was that a 3? Was that a 3? That felt like a 3. Felt like Willow just got a 3 on Jamie Hayter. I could see AEW botches checking that one. That felt really close. Tony owes us a major announcement because the last one was a dud, said John. What was the last one? What was the last major announcement? Saraya grabbing a crutch. That was all right. We got Saraya getting into verbals with Britt. Inside cradle, couldn't get it. Round the back of Serena Deeb. Deeb going against the ropes. Willow collides into Deeb. Deeb goes down. Serena Deeb going over. Tagging in. Willow was too busy screaming and not capitalizing. Penelope Ford comes in. She knocks Willow down. Athena. Is Athena a legal person? Spear by Serena Deeb. I don't know who the legal person is. Tony Storm comes in. I don't even know if the referee knows who the legal person is. Backbreaker by Jamie Hayter. Yeah. Right now, the ref's in the corner like, legal person. By Penelope. On Willow. 2. Kick out by Willow. Oof. Brenton said, I'm thinking it's an 8.9 out of 10. The match brawl could have ended sooner, but it's been an excellent hour so far. Drop kick there by Willow. Looking to pick up and plant down Penelope 2. And Willow gets the pin on Penelope. So Saraya in there with the faces. They're all celebrating. Britt Baker's rolling in. Britt Baker getting in the face of Saraya. Oh, what's happening? This is good. I'm here for this. Saraya's shaping up to hit her, and she does. Oh, they're going at it. Britt and Saraya are going at it. They're throwing in big Shots. Everyone's going at it. Saraya throws Britt out the ring. Saraya and Britt exchanging strikes. Reba goes down to her knees. Kick by Saraya. Saraya said, "This is my house." She looks better this week. She looks better as well with what she's wearing and yeah, Saraya standing tall. Interesting. Forearms being exchanged between Saraya and Britt. Throwing down, man. Throwing down. Paige needs to be careful that her fake boobs don't fall out. I thought she looked good this week. I thought that she looked... I can't remember what she was wearing last week, but this week, like, she kind of came out and she was kind of really relaxed. She kind of had her hands in her pockets. Just like, you know, she knows that she's the star of this segment, but she's not competing. So she kind of came out. She kind of works the crowd. And then out come the women. She kind of stayed out the way. Didn't see loads of her during that match. And then she gets in. I feel like they needed to milk that moment more, though. You know? I mean, like, I feel like that moment is a massive moment that's just been and gone. I feel like you needed, like, verbals. Really what we needed is we needed everyone to go away. We could have done with Britt Baker saying some stuff to Saraya, and then all of a sudden, like, you build it, and then she slaps Saraya. She like slaps and Saraya, like, you know, and everyone's like, what's Saraya gonna do? And you build it and you build it and you build it, and you didn't get any of that. Instead, it was just straight into it. I feel like we've really rushed that moment. I feel like that moment is a big moment. And I think we could have milked it so much better than we just did. But we still got it. Still got it. Here's Acclaimed. No, there was a lot of political stuff in there, which didn't land for me. Talking about Biden, talking about senators and insider trading, and I'm sure it's all relevant in America, but that's, I don't know. I would have liked something to do with Andrade and Sammy. Right, we've got a podium in the ring. Rather into this. We've got scissor section signs being held up. Couple of scissors. Scissoring away. This is great. First annual National Scissoring Day. Lies. For a moment, I thought the guy who attacked Wardlow was Bray Wyatt, says John. They're the most over thing in wrestling right now, said Joel. Yeah, man. They are. They're so over. The most popular team in all of wrestling, the biggest team in AEW history. Homegrown team. The Scissor Me Daddy ass t-shirt is the #1 selling t-shirt of 2022. A stands for Acclaim. Acclaimed every Wednesday. That's what AEW stands for. Acclaimed every Wednesday. I know a thing or two about scissoring. There's a lovely energy to this. National Scissoring Day has been trending all day. Scissoring is a sign of friendship. People want to be represented by a real team, not two dudes that were thrown together like Keith Lee and Sneaky Swerve. So they're using this to just talk about Keith Lee and Swerve. I'm totally down for another match between those teams. Totally down. Everyone loves the Acclaimed. Oh. Billy Gunn wants to say a few words. I don't know what the chant is. Is it Daddy Ass? This is Daddy Ass's house. Isn't it amazing that in 2022 is this over? Isn't that amazing? It's the Unclaimed. Is Billy going to be on Raw? I don't think so. I don't think so. I want to present you guys with this. What's he got? What's he got? Giant pair of scissors. Gotta be. As a present. Golden scissors. And the crowd go crazy. Giant golden scissors. You need two, though. You need two. He's running around with giant golden scissors. No running with scissors. You can't just have one. Who's he meant to scissor? Turn to your right and left and please scissor. Oh, man, I'd be so embarrassed. Imagine, like, you've got a scissor complete strangers. Oh, God, I'd die of embarrassment. People are scissoring complete strangers. There's people, like, doing this to people they've never met. It's the most heartwarming thing I've ever seen in the history of wrestling. It's really bringing people together. Bringing the fans together. Imagine if you sat next to, like, a real attractive girl and you had to scissor her. I'd die of embarrassment. I'd die. You've got to remember, I'm English. We can't cope with these kind of things. What are lonely people supposed to do? Well, if you're there, you just scissor your neighbors. I suppose you can scissor yourself. An attractive girl at AEW, said Lord Rupert. Okay, he's talking about his dad being on some championship team. I don't really know where we're going anymore. There's a lot of division in our country, but what we can agree on is everyone loves the Acclaimed. It's our duty to bring everyone together. People are putting their scissors in the air. First ever. First ever bipartisan scissor. What? They were going to do a three-way scissor. We were just about to see a three-way scissoring, but we didn't get it because Swerve has come out. But here's Swerve. Does not look impressed. I don't think he's been celebrating National Scissoring Day. He looks cool. Swerve said, I think this is the most idiotic thing I've ever seen. This segment is why AEW doesn't grow. This turns people away, says Tommy. Okay. The Acclaim versus Beefcake and Valentine in a scissoring match. Shakim said, I agree. Burger07 said, this is stupid. House of Toad said, this channel bias as hell. What's bias? What's bias? I would actually love to know which way we're meant to be biased. I am not watching AEW. It's boring today, said Tommy. Marty said, I've got 2 words for you. Scissor it. Dark Angel said, ratings are going to go down. I like the Acclaim stuff. I like the scissoring stuff. What I would say is it's over. The crowd are into it. It's harmless fun. I do think this segment has gone on too long, though. I mean, they've just done a load of talking. But maybe part of that is because there's been, things cancelled and moved around and, maybe they're just filling a bit of time. But yeah, I do agree that segment didn't need to go on as long as what it just did. We could have got to this bit a lot quicker. Here we go. Is it Mark Sterling in there talking to the Acclaimed? What's this? Let's give these people what they want. You 3 scissoring me. Slam. Mark Sterling goes down. Yeah, I mean, this is silly. I agree. This is all silly, this stuff. Swerve was about to walk away. It's sports entertainment. It's what WWE do best, says Mats. Mark got scissored, said Zoom Station. They're going to do the 3-way scissoring. Yeah. Big cheer from the crowd as they do it. There we go. End of the segment. Well, I must admit, that segment seemed to split opinion in our chat. I really like the Acclaimed. I really like them. I'm not going to apologize for it. I think they're fun. I think they can go in the ring. They're serious in the ring. They've been involved in some of the best matches this year. The Acclaimed against Swerve and Keith Lee. Them matches have been brilliant. I'll put them up against anything this year. I mean, still maybe not my favorite match, like Cody Seth. Probably my favorite matches, but I'd say Acclaimed against Swerve and Keith Lee has been my favorite AEW matches of the year. Super, super over with the AEW crowds. Genuinely don't think that is what's stopping people from watching AEW. I don't think people are like, loving the show, but going, oh, I just can't watch it because of that Acclaim stuff. I just don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is like, well, we could sit here and list a load of things that AEW could improve, but I don't think the Acclaim stuff is the problem. I do think that segment went on a little bit, and I do think like when Sterling came out and whatever, I didn't really need any of that. And as I said, you could have shaved some time off it. But it is true. They are homegrown. They've organically got over. And I can understand them not being to everyone's taste. But I like it. Yeah, I like it. That was good, said Junior. AEW do need more stuff like that. You can't book a wrestling show all the time. You can't just book a wrestling show all the time. James said the Acclaimed are awesome. I can understand people not liking it, though. I mean, I can understand that being an acquired taste. There's people that, just want serious wrestling match after serious wrestling match after. I mean, there's people that don't want that. And they want like supernatural stuff, and there's people that want hardcore stuff, and I mean, the wrestling world it's so varied. We've compared it to music before as well. Like you've got so many different styles of music that people enjoy. There's some people that love it all, but then there's some people that love 90% of it, but they just can't cope with country music, or they can't cope with metal, or they can't cope with folk. You know what I mean? Like they love dance, they love reggae, but they just can't stand pop music or something. It's kind of very similar with wrestling, There's people that love the mat-based stuff, they love the lucha stuff, they love the strong style stuff, they love the comedy stuff, they love like some of the sillier stuff, they love, supernatural stuff, they love, all of it. Catch as catch can. Just loads of different styles. So it's all down to personal taste, isn't it, at the end of the day? How long we got left? Half an hour. Brenton said, this brings up my rating after the women's match dropped it. Scissoring is fine, but Mark Sterling is where you draw the line. Come on, Days. Went long to buy time. Yeah, probably did. As we said, like maybe it was a case that they were just filling. It didn't need to be that long. It didn't need to be that long, that segment, but it could have been to fill some time. It also could have been because, as you say, Tony knows that that's a segment that people enjoy, and that the ratings will be quite good for that segment. I mean, look, that plays well to AEW fans. So I would imagine that's a segment that people will have, if you're an AEW fan, look forward to. We've got Sky Blue, and I don't know who this person is. Isn't that Paige? I've said that before. Has she changed her hair? What a show. They're going to go over by 15 minutes. Burger07 said the segment was too long and it was just stupid. I agree that it was too long. I think that the scissoring stuff is fun. It's over. You can't do that segment without doing the scissoring stuff. Did they go to it too much? Maybe. Maybe that's because the segment was a bit too long. Saraya looks so different these days. Brad said it's Madison Rain. I couldn't point Madison Rain out in a flipping lineup. You could show me two pictures. One of Beyonce and one of Madison Rain, and I still couldn't point out which is Madison Rain. That's how much she just is not on my radar. Right. Roosh versus Hangman. Roosh versus Hangman. Matt said maybe Andrade had time that had to be cut. Yeah. Was the Andrade match tonight or was it meant for Rampage? I'm not sure. So I don't know if the Andrade stuff caused a problem tonight or not. Madison Rain is married to Josh Matthews, says Corvitz. The word podcast is a portmanteau. A combination of the words iPod and broadcast. The term itself was actually created by accident in 2004. Hangman making his way out. Here's Hangman. Hangman in the ring. Okay, forearm strike by Hangman. I don't know. What have we got left to go? Luchasaurus and Jericho Sammy Danielson Garcia. Chops back and forth. So, Norfolk on the 26th of October. They're just advertising future shows. Hangman to the outside. Roosh goes down. Roosh, forearm strike there by Roosh. Remember when Jade wrestled on Dynamite and I told you this match ain't it? That was Madison Rain. That was Madison Rain with blonde hair. Okay. The Andrade match on Friday was cancelled, said Gio. Remember days. Overrun. 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 Whipped by Roosh. The over. I wonder how long it is. 8 minutes, 10 minutes. Knowing AEW, 5 hours. Bub said, this is some high school nonsense. They need to get someone to run that place if it is ever going to be successful. La 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 la. Sean Rossap's put out a message saying, just a reminder, Billy Gunn was on NWA TV back in 1989. Still to come tonight, we've got Danielson and Garcia taking on Jericho and Sammy. The first text message sent to a cell phone happened almost 30 years ago in 1992, and the message sent was Merry Christmas. Coach Co, shout out to you. I forgot Josh Matthews was on the original Tough Enough. A clip is on YouTube of Tough Enough where Triple H is the trainer and Josh is in the group. Right, Roosh down on one knee. Crowd's a little quiet. Little quiet at the moment as Hangman goes over to the corner. I feel like the crowd came alive for that Acclaim segment. But settle down now. Oh, that was a loud chop there by Roosh. Loud chop. Hangman goes back to the corner, slumps down in the corner. I must admit, I'm surprised there's not more news regarding the backstage altercation. What's Meltzer said about it? Has Meltzer said anything? Seems to have happened. People are certainly talking about it. But I'm surprised there's not more details. Dave Meltzer has put a message out just over an hour ago, and I completely agree with him. He says the same thing we said. How does this happen? Everyone paying attention should have known to have kept Sammy and Andrade apart. It's true. It's true. How does it happen? How did they not get kept apart? Or how did Tony not get them both in a room and try and get it sorted? I mean, seemingly none of those things have happened and they've bumped into each other and this has happened. Corey said, seems like, someone just replied, seems like they're lacking a locker room leader, a Bradshaw, an Undertaker, a Bob Holly, etc. Anything more recent than that? No, that's the last thing that he tweeted out. Against the ropes goes Roosh, duck underneath of a clothesline. Roosh with a crossbody. Jamie Hayter is trending. Good to see. Eddie Kingston is trending. Eddie Kingston and Andrade should form a tag team, said Ryan Satin. Forearm strike by Roosh. We got MJF backstage with his chip. Watch him. Over in the corner goes Hangman. Aubrey referee for this one as Roosh on the outside. Hangman comes crashing down onto Roosh. Roosh goes outside the ring. There was a report earlier that Bandido has signed now with AEW. Obviously, we've seen him recently, but apparently he is now full-time. Hangman comes crashing down onto Roosh. Leo says, how about Paul White? Yeah, or Mark Henry. Yeah. Why aren't they in those? What about William Regal? I mean, they have got people that could do it. Yeah, definitely. Sammy is on Jericho's leash, so someone isn't being a good example, says Heather. It's all CM Punk's fault, right? Said Joshua. Sure. Let's go with that. Did you know the first internet purchase was a pizza order? The pizza was a mushroom and pepperoni. It was on PizzaNet back in the 90s, says Brenton. I didn't. I believe pizza, was that not the first thing purchased with crypto as well? I'm sure pizza was the first thing that was purchased. Thomas said, I've got a question. Can you check your DMs? I've sent you something about White Rabbit. Oh God. Yes and no. I've had a few bits sent through. Thankfully, yours is more recently. Anyone getting creeped out about Joe Gacy and the QR? I wanted to share this interesting article. I can't read the article. It's about Joe Gacy being connected. I don't believe he is. So I don't know what the article is saying, but I don't think Joe Gacy's connected. Man, going to the outsides. I can't find that article. I just searched WWE USA and it's just brought up a load of rubbish. So I do find the search function on Twitter to be quite annoying. I think they could definitely improve the search function. Yeah, I don't know. If you've got an actual link to it, send it through. I'll have a read of it. Kick out a bit of blood coming down the face of Roosh. Is it? Is that his blood or Hangman's blood? I don't know. Bit of blood around the nose of Roosh. He wipes it all. Gives it a little lick. Hangman down in the corner. Roosh going over. About to charge over. Clothesline by Hangman. Look, Hangman to the outside. He's going to go for the buckshot. Buckshot connects. Buckshot connects. Rolls over Roosh. 1, 2, 3. Hangman wins. Hangman wins. Here is your winner. Hangman Adam Page. Gotta tell you, man, crowd were pretty flat. Pretty flat. Hangman Page wins, said Legend Killer. Elon Musk is going to fix it when he buys Twitter, said Bahama. Yeah, it's quite often where I'm trying to find someone. I go to the search and it just doesn't bring them up. Oh, here's Moxley. Moxley's come through the crowds. Moxley ringside. Hangman in the ring. Private Party looked like they were about to attack Hangman, but Moxley's here. We have seen Hangman and Moxley face to face last week, I believe. Moxley's got his championship. He's got a microphone. See what he's got to say. Again, these two face to face. Got the pizza fact from a podcast that an old college professor of mine hosts. Trailblazers with Walter Isaacson. How technology influences society, says Brenton. Here's Moxley. Three years of watching you and 3 years of studying you because I knew this moment was coming. Between the two of us, we've beaten everyone. Except each other. October 18th. October 18th, there'll be one last man standing. He says that at that venue, that's the venue he grew up in. He said, literally, I used to smoke and drink in the tunnel outside. At the Heritage Bank Center. I'm going to choke you until you turn blue. Because you're in the way, said Moxley. He said, I'm the world champion and I'm the best in the world. I don't mind this promo at all, actually. I like the fact he's talking it. He's not screaming it and shouting it. Like, he's come in and he's made some good points. If you've been waiting for this for so long, where are you going right now? Well, he's just told you the match is coming in 12 days. Jeez. What else do you want? I've told you in 12 days' time we're having a match. Cowboy shiz. It's good, said Nick. Just Nick. You're a sweet kid. But like a lot of kids around here, you say a lot of stupid stuff. I wonder if that was a little dig at Sammy. Watch your damn mouth. Like a lot of kids around here, you say a lot of stupid beep. Paige is boring, said Jim. Mox made a comment about Sammy. And stands in the ring as Moxley holds up the championship in the crowd. That was all right, that was pretty good from Moxley. I like that. Here's Willow. I'm more than just happy to be here. I'm on a roll. Here's the baddies. The baddies get pushed back by Willow. Seems to me like you want to be number 39, said Jade. You can't win forever. No one wins forever, says Willow. Willow winning that? I don't think so. Luchasaurus. I've got Luchasaurus. I thought we were going to our main event. Right, Luchasaurus. Coming out with Christian Cage. Luchasaurus. Don't know why I've put it in lowercase. I've done him dirty there, and I didn't even mean that. Ain't changing it. Right, here we go. We've got Luchasaurus coming down. I don't know who he's facing. Is it Fuego? I think it's Fuego, isn't it? Fuego del Sol. Fuego charging at Luchasaurus. Picked up. Slammed down. Christian's got his arm in a sling. Luchasaurus is well in control here. He's got Fuego up on his shoulders. Gonna look to plant him down. That was like, it was a KOD. Luchasaurus. Stunning Bianca Belair. KOD by Luchasaurus. We're going to see Luchasaurus coming down swinging his hair next. I'm on my own against Jungle Boy. He loves her. So, fun fact about Luchasaurus, he's a massive Bianca Belair stan. He's got Bianca Belair stan accounts on Twitter. Here's Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy with a chair. Boom! Across the back. Luchasaurus to the outside. Fuego gets squashed for being friends with Sammy, says to heel. Look at me right now, said Jungle Boy. You was my best friend in the entire world. I don't think we needed the entire world, but you was my best friend in the entire world, in the universe of all time, ever. And you broke my heart. Oh, come on, Jungle Boy. Grow a pair. Come on, mate. You was my bestest friend. You was my bestest friend. I've written so much about you in my journal. I'm going to break your nose, said Jungle Boy. I'm going to break your arm. I'm going to break you piece by piece. Pick the time. Pick the place. I'll be ready, says Jungle Boy. Pick the time. Pick the place. I feel so sorry. Jungle Boy comes across so heartbroken. I feel like he's standing at the gates of agony. We're in Washington. Well, yeah, obviously. That match won't be happening in this cesspool in front of these losers. We ain't got time. Toronto. So Dynamite, when it's in Toronto, when's that? I don't know. Okay, so Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy. Death Triangle are taking on Dark Order this Friday. Death Triangle against Dark Order. Varsity Blondes taking on Tony Nese and Josh Woods. Tay Mello and Anna Jay against Madison Rain and Sky Blue. John Moxley, Claudio, Wheeler Yuta, Blackpool Combat Club against Roosh and Private Party. Battle of the Belts. Jade Cargill against Willow Nightingale. Friday Fight Night. Why is that? Why is Battle of the Belts on Friday? How is it on Friday? When's that? When's that? What? Battle of the Belts is on Friday. When's that? After Rampage or something? Are they doing Rampage? Are they not doing Rampage? What? When's Battle of the Belts? What's going on? Battle Belts AEW. Battle of the Belts will be live on Friday from Washington. So is there no Rampage? It's just Battle of the Belts. Battle of the Belts will be live on Friday, 10 Eastern, which is Rampage time, innit? But didn't they just advertise stuff for Rampage? I'm sure I just read matches for Rampage. October 18th, Dynamite versus NXT. Battle of the Belts has always happened in place of whatever show it's on, says Corbett. I thought isn't Battle of the Belts the one that's normally on a Saturday? Rampage is at 9 and Battle of the Belts is at 10. Oh my God. That's strange, isn't it? So they're doing two different shows in a row. Rampage and then Battle of the Belts. Weird. Battle of the Belts after Rampage, said Mitchell. It's MLB playoffs. So that's what's caused the disruption. 7 minutes left, and it's the main event, says Matt. Well, Matt, I don't know if you've heard, but there's an overrun. Overrun tonight. Don't know how long. But we are overrunning. Rampage on Friday. They don't want you to sleep, said Alexis. Brendan said, I don't know if it came across on Fight, but it wasn't a standard bleep. It was more white noise, crowd noise over Moxley talking. I don't think we had anything bleeped on Fight, to be honest. I don't think we had any crowd noise or anything. I think we heard everything. So I don't know. I don't think there was any censoring at all. John said this is an extended edition. Jim said it's a 15 minutes overrun. The gates of overrunning, said Carlos. Very good. The gates of overrun. Welcome to the gates of overrunning. Yes, very good. Jericho Danielson next week. Seems a bit soon, said Lone Star Friends. Wasn't bleeped on Fight. No, I didn't hear any. I didn't hear any censoring. Nothing was bleeped, says John. Look at this. We're getting it unfiltered. Unfiltered. William said, do not read this comment. They should have sent Sammy home, said Gio. TBS censored it. Pac is pulling double duty on Friday, said Robs. Right, we are at commercial break at the moment. We are at commercial break, so seems like there's 20 minutes to go. 20 minutes to go. Biggest news tonight seems to be the altercation, backstage altercation The latest we've got on that, I don't think there's anything more, is that Sammy and Andrade got into a backstage altercation. There was some pushing. Seems like Andrade threw a punch, but we don't know if it landed. We have seen Sammy. He seems all right. Unless that was recorded earlier, before the altercation. But I would guess it was probably after. Right. Here we go. Jericho Appreciation Society coming down. So Jericho and Sammy taking on Danielson and Garcia. I don't know what reaction they're going to get. I mean, like, Sammy's a heel anyway, so if he gets booed out the building, it's not a bad thing, is it? Sammy makes his way out with Jericho. Has he explained the Oko? I don't know what the Oko is. The Oko, Chris Jericho? The Oko? I've missed that. I've missed the bit where he's explained the Oko. I don't know what that is. I thought that was the person that split up the Beatles. Judas, just seeing Judas effect from last week. Obviously, he wants to destroy the legacy of Ring of Honor. Chris Jericho, Hell of Fame. The Hell of Fame. 7-time champion, says Kyle. He's won 8 championships. They should have just made this episode 3 hours, says Jim. Why stop there, Jim? Why stop there? It means 8-time world champion in English. That's what the Oko means. It means the 8-time. What? The Oko means 8-time. Oko means 8-time. I've never heard that. Like duo is 2. Oko is 8. Oko is the Spanish word for 8. There we go. Spanish word for 8. I mean, it's okay. I can get with that. So that's why it's passed me by. He's only come up with that since he won the Ring of Honor title. The Oko. Doesn't that just mean the 8? The 8. The 8 Chris Jericho. Right. Sammy is... Someone's got a sign that says Sammy is the Spanish gods, and he's crossed out the words the Spanish. So it just says Sammy is God. It's a man seemingly in his, I don't know, late 30s maybe, has got a sign that says Sammy is God. Mitchell said, Days, it's Oko, pronounced Ocho. It's for his 8 title wins. It's also from the movie Dodgeball, when they say ESPN 8, the Ocho, it's him being cheeky. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it now that I know what it means. I've definitely missed the bit where he's explained it. But don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. The Ocho. He stole the Ocho name from... Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. He's got it. Osho. Osho. Well... It's the O Show. I can't stress this enough. I don't care enough to pronounce it correctly. I do not care. I could not care less if I tried. Oko, Ocho, Yoko Ono. I don't give a flip. Right, Chop coming in by Jericho. Chop coming back by Garcia. We're a minute into the overrun, so we've got around about, 14 minutes to go. Zoom Station said, F-U Sammy chants. On the outside by Sammy. Sammy tags himself in and goes after Garcia. Evan said, is it 2-on-1 handicap match or not? Because Sammy got sent home. No. Sammy's here. Andrade has been sent home. But Sammy hasn't. Sammy is in the ring right now. Against the ropes goes Sammy. Basement drop kick. Drop kick there by Danielson. An interesting conversation being had about Jacques Rougeau and Dynamite Kid and their backstage altercation. It's just playing out on Meltzer's thing. Brett punched Vince. Nails punched Vince. Shawn and Taker almost fought. Jericho beat up Goldberg. Big Show fought Carl Lee. Hunico beat up Sheamus. Alberto fought Hunico. Dave Meltzer said dozens more where that came from. Dynamite and Jacques had 2 incidents. Oh, Dynamite Kid. I thought you meant AEW Dynamite. Dynamite and Jacques had 2 incidents. Count the suspensions out of all the ones you listed, including Dynamite and Jacques, which was far worse than anything else. Only Nails who quit. Don't really know what point he's making there. I'm sure there is a point. I don't quite understand it. Honestly, Dave, except for a couple of pay-per-views, I've not watched WWE since 2018, shifted entirely to New Japan. Only when people bring up WWE doesn't do it when it does. Khan is rightly criticized and didn't expect to see that from Dave Meltzer. Khan is rightly criticized and needs to steer the ship back in a good direction, to say the least. But when you say WWE would never have this happen, history tells you different. Okay, yeah, I can vibe with that. There's been plenty of altercations backstage in WWE. I would say, though, that the this period that we're in right now is very intense for backstage altercations for AEW. Don't know. I can remember incidents in WWE, but I don't know if I can remember a series like this. I mean, we've had obviously Sammy and Kingston, Sammy and Andrade, of course, CM Punk and the Elite and everything. And that's all come in such a short, intense period of time. I don't know that I can remember get an example from WWE with so many incidents in such a short space of time. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it has happened in WWE. I agree with that. And then people are just talking about it. So it is the talk. It's actually not as big as what I thought, though. I don't know why. I don't know why. The CM Punk one, obviously bigger star, isn't he? That seems to have caught people's attention a bit more. Andrade and Sammy, 4,000 tweets. It's trending, but doesn't seem to be as big as the CM Punk Elite one. Ricky Stark said, man, can my co-workers just shut for a minute? Right, we've got Danielson going up top. Sammy up top with Danielson, looking for a Spanish fly, gets it. Sammy Guevara with a Spanish fly, goes over, looks for the pin on Danielson. Kick out by Danielson. Mike said, to be honest, Tony needs to get rid of Sammy, the whole factory, Workhorseman, and the dumb Sonny Kiss faction, says Mike. I love Ricky Stark, says Jim. Brenton said, I don't want to take credit, but I saw someone say Gates of Days and Confusion. That's funny for whoever came up with it. The Gates of Days and Confusion. You see that in my mind, I've just got me standing there going, you're right. Come on in. I don't think that strikes fear, to be honest. Evan says, now I disrespected CM Punk because you know why he disrespected Kenny. I don't like any Omega or Elite. I do like Cody. CM Punk is at fault. Tony Khan is at fault. Triple H is better. Spanish Insect. Against the ropes, both guys colliding into each other. Double crossbody by Sammy and Danielson. Jericho Danielson 3. That is next Wednesday. Tag, in comes Garcia and Jericho. So Garcia and Jericho both in the ring at the same time. Up top, Sammy comes crashing down, but comes crashing down into a right fist by Garcia. Are these two going to go at it? They're face-to-face at the moment, and they are unloading on each other. Garcia driving Jericho back. Kick to the midsection. Tony Khan is a fan role-playing as a wrestling company owner, said James. Evan said Corbin, the worst referee, and you know it all. Even Stephanie's better, including Vince, because he at least was funny, says Evan. Tony needs a creative team, not his mark booking, said Mike. It's drama. It happens. Why not just enjoy the wrestling, says Luke. Against the ropes goes Garcia. He goes down. Jericho grabs him. Steps through, turns Jericho over into a sharpshooter. Sharpshooter applied here by Garcia. Could we see the Ring of Honor Pure Champion submit the Ring of Honor World Champion? That's what we've got right now. But Sammy comes in. There's a sign in the crowd. There's a sign in the crowd that says, hire a HR expert. That is a great sign. That's a great sign and a great piece of advice. Tony Khan, hire a HR expert, please. We need someone in charge of human resources. That's great. That's great. Hire a HR expert. Chop coming in by Jericho. That's the sign, said Alexis. It's good. It's good. Chop's coming in by Garcia on Jericho. Jericho going against the ropes. Garcia went for a drop kick, but lands on his back. Oh, Lion Salt. Knees up by Sammy. Garcia. In comes Sammy. Sammy is tagged in. Sammy going up top. He tried to come off top into like a stunner, but actually ends up in a submission hold. Crossface applied by Garcia. Crossface. Double submissions. Danielson and Sammy. I keep calling him Sammy. Danielson and Garcia both in control. Now they've got them driving forearms and elbows into the side of the head. Crowd are yesing away. Gates of Infamy. I like that. Gates of Fear. Prefer the infamy. Gates of Oblivion. Yeah. Gates of Hades. No. Bit too dramatic, that one. Gates of Iron Fences. I like Gates of Infamy. I think that's all right. Gates of Oblivion. That's all right. I don't mind either of those. They're pretty good. I like Gates of Pain. I don't mind that. Makes me think of Powers of Pain, as I said. I still like Gates of Anarchy. I think that's the one. Gates of the Charity Shop. That's it. Called it. Called it. I knew you'd come through, Miss Clown. Gates of the Charity Shop. Right, we've got Garcia on the shoulders of Sammy. Oh, slap there by Garcia. Garcia with Sammy. Oh, pile driver. Pile driver by Garcia. 1, 2. Jericho grabs Garcia. Gates of Timmins, says Sonny. Garcia again looking for a pin, but both guys get to their feet. Forearm strikes coming in. Big boot there by Garcia. Super kick by Sammy. Clothesline. As Sammy goes down. Jericho and Danielson on the outsides. Colliding into... Oh, my God. Danielson is slammed on the edge of a table. Suplexed into the table. Ooh, that table, man, didn't break. He got caught right on the edge of it as well. Looked moody. Danielson getting caught on the edge of the table. That looked moody, man. Oh, moody. What do you score AEW Dynamite? Might as well get this sorted as we're sneaking to the end. Garcia is down, and strikes coming in by Sammy. That move didn't look great either from Sammy. Sammy going to the outsides. Garcia looks like he's been knocked a bit silly there. Sammy up top. Sammy. Oh! Comes crashing down, but knees up by Garcia. The Dragon Slayer. Locked in by Garcia. Sammy in a lot of pain. Grimacing away. Jericho with the championship belt. Smacking Garcia in the head. Garcia goes down. Feels like there's going to be a pin here. Is Danielson? No one's pinning. Is Guevara going to get the pin? He's going over. Danielson is still down. Here's Guevara. 2, 3. There we go. Guevara and Jericho pick up the victory. Thanks to Jericho hitting Garcia. Striking him in the head with the championship. Danielson down. Garcia down. Sammy Dramara. There we go. The heels standing tall. There's the rest of the Jericho Appreciation Society. Iconti. Anna Jay. Jericho staring at Garcia. AEW refs never see anything, said Lord Rupert. Jericho stepping out of the ring. 8.5 said Just Nick. CJ said 7. I'm in the 7 to 7.5 area. I didn't see who said that. Joel said solid 8. Marty is booing. Days, in the case of Tony Khan, it's the Gates of Delusion. The Gates of Delusion. That's not a bad name, actually. The Gates of Delusion. I could get that's still better than the Gates of Agony. The Gates of Delusion. The Gates of Anarchy versus a babyface faction called the Gates of Democracy versus a neutral faction called the Gates of Monarchy. The Gates of Monarchy. The Gates of Monarchy. In my mind, I'm seeing them dressed like Pretty Deadly were on NXT last night. Gates of Larry the Dog, said Robs. Right, we got Tar Heel with the 7.5. We've got a few 8s in the chat as well. We've got the poll up, so get your thoughts in. Obviously, we've already stuck around a little bit after because of the sexy overrun. So we'll stick around for a few more minutes so that you guys can get your thoughts in. What did you think of this 3-year anniversary of Dynamite? Obviously, we saw Luchasaurus in a squash match. Darby against Jay Lethal. I thought MJF Wheeler Yuta was pretty good at the start. I thought that was a pretty good start. I liked the Acclaimed, so I'm always going to be into their segments, but thought that it was just little bit long. Women's match was, so-so. But interesting seeing Saraya and Britt throw at each other. I just think they rushed it, to be honest. I think they could have milked that moment. Actually, would have been good to have shaved some time off a few things. Maybe shaved a little bit of time from that acclaimed bit in particular. You probably could have took some time off MJF Wheeler Yuta as well. Cut a bit of time from different places. Just given that Britt and Saraya moment a bit more time, like done a bit of a promo before, and then had, as you say, slap Saraya, and Saraya, turns her head, and the crowd can get into it as Saraya turns back to Britt, and it's building, and oh my God, is she gonna hit her? Is she gonna get physical with her? But it's just off they went. So, the little tweaks here and there. Wardlow, Brian Cage. It was all right at its moments, didn't it? Hangman Rouge didn't do it for me. Main event. I mean, I don't know. Get your thoughts in. What did you think about the show? As I said, undeniably, Andrade and Sammy has kind of overshadowed it a bit. But yeah, even that doesn't seem to be anywhere near the level of the CM Punk stuff. I'm just looking at how many people are talking about it and kind of what kind of interaction there is online, and it's definitely a talking point, but it doesn't feel as big as the CM Punk Elite one. Brenton says 8 women's match and main event were the only downers, but the rest was really good in my opinion. Stuttering Steve said I just couldn't get much into it. My score is a 5.5. Serge said scissors out of 10. Seba says -8. Corey said it was okay, not great, just kind of there. John said 7.5, the Gates of Dazed and Confused out of 10. John, shout out to you. Corey said Dynamite is kind of becoming Raw. Everything just blends together. Rob said the Gates of Larry the Dog. Kevin says the Gates of the Lavatory. The Gates of the Lavatory. David said, do you think Adam Cole will be a draw when he returns? It really depends on his booking. I think one of my criticisms pretty consistently with AEW is that everything is just so fast. We just burn through everything so quickly. I mean, everything is just so quick. Even the way that they read out the matches that are coming up in the future, that's a good example of just the pace of AEW. The pace is so fast. Everything's a breakneck speed, which, a nice fast-paced show is obviously good, but if you don't let things breathe and you don't let things build and you don't we constantly are getting matches that don't have much in the way of a build. There'll be a little altercation backstage, boom, it's a match next week. And sometimes, it's really difficult to remember those little altercations. And so I'm sure a lot of these matches have had a build, but it's nothing. It's minor. There's nothing much to them. I think when they do their long-term storytelling, they do that well. So I think when they do, the long-term stuff. So, obviously long-term storytelling with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. We've got a little bit of a build here to Hangman and Moxley. I like the fact that they have, I don't know if they've faced before, but they're kind of making out they haven't. So, I mean, that's an interesting angle. So, I'm kind of into that as well. So when they do like the longer term stuff, it's good. But I just think too much on the weekly shows is just, it's really quick, isn't it? It's really rushed through. Just think they could slow it down. But in all fairness, they could do that and, the ratings could be atrocious. So, it's all well and good like coming up with saying things that you think they should do, but it's no guarantee that it would actually improve the ratings. It's easy to sit and say these things, isn't it? But would it actually improve the ratings? Probably not. Probably not. So yeah, with Adam Cole, I think if he comes back and they put him in a long-term story and really give him a story that we can get into and care about, and it's not just like, things that are rushed, he could get somewhere, definitely. Adam Cole has had one story, and that's with Kenny. A part of me hopes they don't fire Punk so that they can almost substitute Bobby Fish for him, and then you could have an all-time great trios match. Ledge Killer said 7. Matt said a fast-paced show keeps attention and people off their phones, off their heads, off their food. We'll never know what the rest of that. At the moment, it's hiding behind the poll. We've had 161 votes. Keep your votes coming in. And we'll see where we can get to with that. And then we'll wrap it up, as we said. I still don't know what people are off. People off their phones. I get it. I agree, though. Things do need time to breathe. Brenton said, I guess you've not seen Tony's comments on the exact topic of build-ups. He talked on Busted Open. Again, can't see it. I haven't. I don't listen to Tony on Busted Open. I don't listen to Busted Open. I don't even think we get Busted Open, but I'm sure we could get it if... I'm sure it's probably online or something, but no, that is not something that I listen to. He spoke about it on Busted Open. I read an article earlier today on it, says Brenton. Rob said, the gates of the man in the mask, you tasty little Rice Krispie. Very good. Very good. Sonny said, I got a scissor buddy. Just Nick. Oh, that's great. It's great to know that we've got a couple of community members scissoring away during the stream. So keep going at it, guys. Love to see it. Right, we're at 175. I think that's pretty good. We'll wrap it up there. Let's have a look and see what the scores are. So I can tell you 8-10 people enjoyed it. I mean, only just though. I mean, 34% plays 33%, so close. 8-10. 7-775. So I don't think it's unfair to say that you lot probably scored it 775 to 8 because it feels like 34% of you were in 8-10, 33% of you were 7-7-5. I've got to think that it's probably the top end of the one, the bottom end of the other. So 7-7-5 to 8 feels like where you lot were. 16% of you went 5-7-5 or below. 15% quite close again there. So it feels like some of you were 7-7-5 to 8, and then a good chunk of you were 5-7-5 to 6. So kind of split across those numbers. I'm sure there was others in there, but yeah, that just gives you a snapshot. I think if you were really into it, then you was low end 8s, and if you wasn't really feeling it, then you was around 5-7-5. 6, kind of around that. I don't think this show by any means is like a 4 or a 3 or anything like that. I think there was some good stuff on it. I really don't know where I'd be. I don't know where I'd be. I'd probably be a 7-7-2-5, something like that. I don't know, maybe a 7. Maybe a 7. I mean, I feel like the MJF match was good. I feel like the crowd were really dead, you know? I really feel like the crowd were dead. There was a lot of times where I was watching the matches and the action was all right, but the crowd were just sat on their hands, just really, really quiet. really quiet. Not a normal AEW crowd. Not a normal AEW crowd. But in all fairness, I don't think Washington is regarded as like a hot crowd, you know? So it could just be because they were in Washington. So, right, we're done. Anyway, awesome. Appreciate the support, as always. Don't know quite what we're doing tomorrow, but I'm sure there'll be something tomorrow. I tend to put something up, so I'm sure there'll be something. And then on Friday, obviously, we've got SmackDown. Saturday, doesn't look like we've got the boxing anymore. I need to look into that, but I've had enough people telling me it's been cancelled to believe it's been cancelled. So it looks like it is just Extreme Rules, but hey, no problems there. I'm quite excited. The reveal, potentially, of the White Rabbit stuff. So obviously, we'll see how that goes. But thanks a lot for joining us, guys. Really do appreciate it, as you know. And hopefully, I will see you again next time. Bye for now.